of Wilde And Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and, of course, everything you need on WisconsinOnDemand.com and the Wisconsin On Demand app. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay, subbing, I guess, for Jesse in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. It is the young, the talented Riley Yauk. Good morning, Riley.
Good morning, Jason.
And subbing for Tausch as our cousin sub of the day, moving inside the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios.
Some would call it an upgrade.
I don't know. You're George, the usher.
No,
does not
actually,
count.
he really likes Tausch. Maybe the Navy fella would say this is an upgrade.
Retired Navy fella. This is your lucky day. Our cousin sub of the day is Jesse Nelson. Jesse, good morning.
Yeah, morning, Jason.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm leaving early today, just so you know.
Wait, you're the cousin sub of the day.
Yeah, great opportunity to step in and host with you. Yeah.
And you're leaving early?
Correct, yes. Yep.
How early?
Not that early. I'm not going to be able to stick around to talk to Mike Kelly with you, so you'll be able to catch up with Mike on your own. I need to get over to the Kohl Center because I'm calling some state tournament boys basketball today on ESPN Wisconsin. 1:15 we get on the air, and I realized if I stay till noon, I'd be cutting it pretty tight because I got to set everything up over there. So I got to dip out a little early. Hope you're okay with that. You okay with that?
Do I have a choice?
I could ask Riley to call the games, I guess, at 1:15, but
speaking of upgrades,
not sure he's prepared. That's rude.
So you get to be the cousin sub of the day.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you're going to leave early.
Yes.
Like 11:15?
11:30-ish. I could probably stick around a little longer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, we got parking passes this year, so that's a big upgrade. Speaking of upgrades, we don't usually have that. We usually drive around trying to find the free parking on the street by the Kohl Center. We can park right next door to it this time around, so we're good this time.
Riley, is this IPT?
I would think so. It also seems very un-Jesse Nelson-like to step in and not host for the full 3 hours. I get it. He has to leave for play-by-play, but it seems like he'd almost rather shirk play-by-play and miss part of the pregame show than miss 15 minutes of Wilde And Tausch.
I'm just curious, why didn't you book someone else if you were going to leave early?
Did you think I didn't think of that idea, Jason? We tried. It's a busy week around here. Homer's flying to Cleveland. Other people are going to different places. Spring break's going on. So people like Bulaga's got soccer camp. He's teaching everybody in his Ted Lasso form how to kick and whatnot down there. We tried. We tried. This was not without effort that we couldn't get anybody else to sub in. I mean, are there other options we didn't explore that I could have asked him? Everyone's going to say, did you ask this person? Did you ask this person? Sure, there could have been some others, but this works out just fine. Mike Kelly's going to be your extra cousin sub of the day. That's like the cheese curds from cousin subs at the very end of the show here. I'm the sub. Zach Showalter's going to be on with us at 10:30. He's going to be great talking Badgers hoops. We got plenty to talk about here. We got great guests coming on. We're going to be just fine. Everything's going to be on the rails, smooth sailing. You won't even notice Tausch isn't here.
What else have you conjured up for your big cousin sub of the day opportunity here for today's show? What else you got that you've come up with idea-wise?
Okay, so we have a lot of fun things in store on today's show, Jason. I just want you to know that.
I'm not used to a cousin sub or a co-host reading the show sheet, so
let alone making it, right? So, March Madness, of course, gets started today. We got to talk about the NCAA tournament, the Wisconsin Badgers, a 3-seed in action at 12:30 this afternoon. I'd actually like to know what people are doing for work this afternoon. That'd be a compelling thing for me to find out. We'll talk about that coming up.
Well, we know you're working, calling the games, but leaving the show early.
Conflict with LePay and I on at the same time. How about that?
Oh, I don't know who I'll choose.
My brother-in-law really wants us to talk about a flight dilemma that he faced last night. He texted, he didn't even know I was hosting the show today, but he said, you guys got to talk about my flight situation. And then he told me what was all going on there. So we'll talk about the flight situation for my brother-in-law, Chris. I also want to do power rankings of the best sports theme songs. Because all last night, I'm doing the dishes after dinner, and the whole time, like 20 minutes, I was driving Becca crazy because I'm just sitting in the kitchen scrubbing a dish going, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, because that's the best sports theme song of all time. So, spoiler alert with the power rankings. We'll do that at some point, too. But, Jason, here's what I want to do more than anything. I want to flip this show on you today.
What do you mean?
He's shaking already.
I'm not shaking. I'm skeptical.
You're a media guy, and you're always asking all the hard-hitting questions of Brian Gutekunst and of Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love and everybody with the Green Bay Pack, and maybe not Mark Murphy. He doesn't really talk to you anymore.
Because I asked him tough questions.
True.
Yes.
I would love for our fans to ask Wilde anything today, preferably about the Green Bay Packers.
What do you mean by anything?
Yeah, preferably about the Green Bay Packers, because that's where our bread is buttered here. I think you spend a lot of time asking Tausch what he thinks about the state of the offensive line and the secondary and the wide receivers. I want our fans to be able to ask you a series of questions today about the Green Bay Packers, because you're always better when you're in the reactor or calling into your own show anyway. So while I'm sitting in this chair, why don't we take advantage of it and flip this show on you? What do you think, Mr. Wilde?
So does that mean you're going to drive the show? Or am I still doing
That's a lot of work.
And plus, you're going to leave early.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. All right, let's do this for like a segment and see where it goes, I suppose. But you tell me. It's your show.
No, it's not. It's our show. It takes a village.
Literally, my name is not on the show. That's very apparent.
Do you think we should change the logo and it says Wilde and Tausch, and then in really tiny fine print it says, and Jesse Nelson? Or do you miss too many shows for us to add that to the logo?
No, I mean, that's rich while Tausch is gone for as long as he's going to be gone. But no.
He's the star, though. He's a little higher echelon than either of us.
I do not belong on the name of this show. I think everybody, including me, understands that. But for this show today, Wilde and Nelson, Wilde and Jesse,
Nelly,
Jesse and Jason.
Double J, J squared. Big J and Jason.
We'll work on that. I'm
we'll
Big
continue
J.
to workshop it.
For today's show, I think we could talk about some things because I want to ask you a series of Packers questions, and I want our fans to be able to ask you a series of Packers questions on the carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Liss is more. How about that?
844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. That is the carbless talk and text line. Liss is more. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to resolve or help resolve your... I mean, I guess it's already resolved, right? Because your brother-in-law did, in fact, experience this situation last night.
He is not home yet, though, which is part of the situation at hand that we will discuss.
Okay,
and he's happy about it. There's a tease.
He's happy to not be home. Now, I will admit, my interest is piqued. Because Lord knows I prefer to be home at every opportunity. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to help Jesse's brother-in-law with his dilemma, as Tausch would call it. And then we're going to open it up for these questions. Ask Wilde almost anything.
Yeah, there's a filter here, just so everybody knows. There's a filter that you're gonna have to go through, a little water processor.
So you'll be able. We'll put it on social media. We'll put it. You could do it in the YouTube comments if you're a subscriber.
That's where we're gonna have the most trouble. I have a feeling.
Unlike Tausch, yeah, but I can pick and choose out of those. So that's the beauty of that. And of course, the carbless talk and text line 844-770-3776. All right. I look forward to helping resolve your brother-in-law's situation. I am intrigued by the fact that he's glad he's not home. I am also curious. Jim on the South Side, a little surprised
here
he
we
didn't
go.
get asked.
Yeah.
What are his credentials? Maybe that's what we should have done. We should have we should have asked for resumes, see who we could get with worthwhile credentials.
What qualifies you of Wilde and Tausch Nation to be the cousin sub of the day instead of me, with Tausch unavailable and a plethora of other options also out of action today?
So sorry, Jim. You'll have to suffer through Jesse. But then we'll get to Ask Wilde Almost Anything. We do have, not only do we have Zach Showalter, who I think is one of the smartest basketball guys I know, but then we have one that is in that same echelon and a Final Four contributor as well, starter on the 2000 team. Mike Kelly scheduled to appear at 11:40, so we'll get your basketball fix. But in between, I do want to get to these questions that Jesse's hoping will be conjured up. He's got a couple of his own, and I am curious what people with real jobs do today. Right? Because, first of all, you're not going to be able to watch the Badger game because you'll be calling a game while it's going on. Which game do you have?
I have the Division III semifinal, so it tips off with Freedom and Elk Mound at 1:35 this afternoon at the Kohl Center.
Ooh.
And that's followed by the Milwaukee Academy of Science in action against Lake Mills. Actually a really fun Division III field this year. McDonald's All-American finalists, Division I commits, including one player going to Iowa State who plays in Milwaukee tomorrow with TJ Otzelberger, the head coach. Like, a lot of good players in action this afternoon at the Kohl Center. If you do get a chance to tune in, I actually really encourage you to do so, not because I'm on the call with Mike Podol of ESPN Milwaukee, but because these are going to be really fun games with great players.
Who's the kid from Freedom?
Donovan Davis, really good player, a sophomore, getting a bunch of D1 looks already, including from Bradley University, I believe.
He can do better than that, I'm sure.
That's rude.
And who's the Iowa State commits that will be playing today?
One of the Milwaukee Academy of Science players. They have like 4 really good Division I players. I forget his name off the top of my head without the.
But you're not calling that
stats.
game,
No,
so
I
it's
am
not your
calling.
problem.
I am calling that
you might
game.
want to figure out who
I don't
those
want to
people
say
are.
his name wrong and get it. I'll get my notes out. I'll give you all the things. I probably won't do that, but
You're nothing if not prepared. All right.
Tune in at 3:05 to find out.
To see if Jesse knows who's playing. All right. We will get to Jesse's brother-in-law's dilemma. We will get to that after Tausch from Beyond, well, not Beyond the Grave, Beyond the Show, tells us about Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. More Wilde and Tausch with Jesse Nelson. What are you doing here? As our cousin sub of the day, it's Wilde and Tausch.
Mark Tauscher here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Well, we talk a lot about the unprecedented quality and service you get from Pella. But talking to the people who work there, you can tell how much they genuinely love what they do. Pella's team is with you from start to finish. They don't disappear after the sale. Right now, take advantage of windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Certain restrictions do apply. This offer ends March 31st, 2025. Get started today at PellaWI.com.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. Well, this time of year, it feels like every day is a big game day, and you need a winning pizza lineup to celebrate. Pepperoni, sausage and mushrooms, or ham, pineapple, and bacon? Well, the choice is yours. And right now, you get a large 3-topping original stuffed crust pizza for just $11.99 at Pizza Hut. Available for delivery or carryout, you can create your perfect pizza no matter the game plan for just $11.99. Order now on the Pizza Hut app or online at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Ford and Metro Kia of Madison. Find the Metro family of auto dealers online or see them in person on the east side of Madison today.
Is it Waukesha or Waukesha? Brat or Brat? Is it ever okay to vacation in Minnesota? Wisconsinites can't agree on everything, but we can agree getting paid earlier is better. That's why UW Credit Union is making members direct deposits available up to 2 days earlier. Early payday at UW Credit Union. Join today. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit uwcu.org for details.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. You can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Get ready, Madison. The Packers Tailgate Tour rolls back into town on Wednesday, April 9th. Hey, it's Molly Brown from Jim, Matt, and Molly. Join us in supporting Dairyland Sports, a Madison-based nonprofit improving access to sports, fitness, and recreation for individuals with physical disabilities in Wisconsin. Learn more and support the cause at dairylandsports.org/Packers Tailgate. And stay tuned to ESPN Madison for your chance to win VIP tickets to the Packers Tailgate Tour. Sponsored by Visit Verona, Paul's Party, and ESPN Madison.
With the next pick in the big draft, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Dane County selects you. As we count down to the draft in Green Bay, Big Brothers and Big Sisters is also counting on you to help meet the growing demand of mentorship in our community. Become a role model, a motivator, a supporter, a positive influence. Empower the young people in our community to create a brighter future for all. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Dane County presents The Big Draft in partnership with the NFL Inspire Change. Learn how to get involved at bbbsmadison.org.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
We're on the Packers.
If they're not better this year,
because we're on Wisconsin Sports,
there's going to be a lot of seats warming up.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
I like to think that I do a decent job of promoting our program on social media.
I think you do a great job.
Well, I'm not sure I did just now because
I see it.
one day into Tausch's spring sabbatical, and Jesse Nelson claims he couldn't find a cousin sub of the day, so he appointed himself. I don't know if that drives people to say, oh gosh, I got to listen to Wilde And Tausch today. So this is your opportunity. Because I'm guessing there's going to be some that are like, I got to tune in just at least to hear how bad it is.
Save the show.
So here's your opportunity. Share your brother-in-law's travel story so we can get to people's Packers questions and get ready for March Madness to kick off this morning. What is the situation that your brother-in-law, Chris?
Yeah, Chris.
Finds himself in, and I know this is not the husband of your sister because you don't have a sister because you're an only child, which we can never tell from your behavior.
Correct. This is Becca's brother. So he was in Canada for a work trip. And he was flying back, and he was flying into the Appleton Airport, which is not a large airport and not a lot of direct flights, I would imagine, to international destinations. So he had a layover in my favorite tropical paradise, especially in the month of January. Detroit was where his layover was. So I'm just going to look at what his text is here to make sure I get all the details correct on this. Right next to my notes on Jamarian Bateman for Milwaukee Academy of Science in action later today. Iowa State commit. So he was flying back out of Detroit. The connecting flight in Detroit was supposed to leave at 4 p.m. Because of bad weather, it was pushed back to 8 p.m. So he already had an extra layover in Detroit that he was going to stay longer for. He texted his boss and said, there's a chance that flight gets canceled. I have to get a hotel and come back at 10 a.m. the next day. The boss said, yes, go ahead. Like, that's approved. Like, obviously, stay safe. Like, travel home. If you need to stay over, that's fine. Expense, whatever. So he has the approval to stay overnight in Detroit, get a hotel. Well, the weather passes through, and then the 4 p.m. flight is back on. So he has the option to get back on the flight, but because the weather impacted the flights earlier in the day, they oversold the 4 o'clock flight. So they did the whole deal where there's extra people on the flight, and they're offering vouchers, or I don't know how it works, if it's like a Visa gift card or whatever it is. Like, our flight is overbooked. Can we buy your way off of this plane for you to fly back tomorrow, since the next flight was at 10 a.m. the next day from Detroit to Appleton? So he already has the approval from his supervisor to stay overnight in Detroit and be reimbursed for the cost of the hotel and food and whatever else. And he now could have a chance to play the game where he could drive the price up a little bit on the reward to stay off of the flight that he was originally scheduled to come home on. What is the price at which, and you had a lot of these travel situations, I'd imagine, back in the day where flights are oversold and you're flying back solo from Packers road games and whatnot. Would there ever be a situation where you would accept the cash to stay longer, catch the flight the next day, especially given the situation where everything's approved for him to expense everything from his work?
Yeah, I'm jumping at this opportunity, right? Like, now, here's the problem. His boss isn't like a listener to our show, right?
Not that I know of. Although we are popular in a lot of offices around the state of Wisconsin.
I've heard
so
that, yes.
I don't know.
So, because is there any level of IPT here to take advantage of this scenario?
Oh, I think it's incredibly IPT. Let me state for the record. I think it's incredibly IPT that he's playing both sides here. He's trying to get money from the airline to get off the flight to go home the next day, and he's getting money from work to stay an extra day because of the travel. Like, he's playing both ends of this really well.
Yeah, like a Stradivarius. Very impressive. I would say I am on Team Chris here. I think. Now, wait a minute. I need to know more about his family situation. Becca's brother, married, children?
No, solo.
Oh, then this is a no-brainer, right?
That's what
like
I
if
think.
you got kids to get home to, yes, you get back on the 4 o'clock flight and you just get home.
I'm not a parent. I know you'd feel differently about this, but if the family's taken care of for the night, assuming I'm not going to be home, maybe a night away isn't the worst thing. Like, a little break, a little sleep-in time, go to bed early, you know?
Yeah, but you're not in Miami.
Well, close.
Right?
Detroit's pretty good.
You're in Detroit.
The Miami of the North.
Jesse, the only person who loves Detroit more than Jared Goff at this point. But yeah, I love the hustle. I love the fact that he did take advantage of this.
So that's the other question. What price would they have to offer you from the airline before you would say yes in this situation? Like, would you volunteer at no cost? Would you wait for them to say $100 to leave the flight, $200 to leave the flight? What's the price that you would say, yeah, I'll do it?
So this is the age-old question, right? Because you really have to play this game well. And it's been a long time since I was in this situation. It used to happen fairly regularly. I was always fascinated by the oversold concept. Like, you know how many passengers you have, you know how many seats you have, and yet you do this, and then you give away, it's just credits, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But I always thought the worst thing to do would be to jump at the first offer, because they're going to drive up the price the longer you wait. But if you wait too long, then you don't get to take advantage.
And especially when you're in a risk-free situation like Chris was last night, where he's already getting everything else expensed. It's not like this money that he's getting from the airline is going to go toward the hotel room and everything else that he could get.
Right.
So he ended up, guess how much he got from the airline?
$1,000 in airfare credit.
$900.
Yeah, well, that's where I would
He
have.
got to 900 waiting it out at the Detroit airport last night because everybody else wanted to get home. $900.
Kudos to him.
So was he bartering with the airline,
No,
or did he just sit there and wait until they jacked the price up enough?
It's kind of like the price. There's a Price is Right game where it's like you got to be in the range. Yeah, it's kind of like the yodeler guy where it goes up and up, and then it gets to the point where if it goes too far, you lose. Like if you wait long enough, like Jason said, if you wait long enough and someone else walks up to the counter and says, "I'll take 700," then all right,
then
you're out
done.
of luck.
Okay,
you're flying home to Detroit,
back.
or you're flying home to Appleton right away. But he waited it out to $900. I think 1,000 everyone else would have jumped at. That's why I think he went 900. But
savvy.
900. There's no way I would have made it to 900 given the situation. I would have made it to like 200, and I would have been like, "Yep, sign me up." Like, great job by him to get to 900.
And now he will have the opportunity to go on a trip and spend $900 of airline credits instead of having to buy a ticket.
To go around the world if he wanted to. Twice.
In 80
well
days.
Played.
$900. And he's reimbursed for everything else.
Is he staying at the Westin inside the airport, or did they send him to some sort of
I don't know. There's a few recommendations I would have from our tropical trip to Detroit back in 2022. David Bakhtiari's final game as a Green Bay Packer, if I remember correctly.
No. He played in the opener, then the following year, and then never played again.
The Bears game he played in. Yeah, I forgot about the Bears game.
All right. Well, we'll get to more inaccuracies from Jesse when we get to trivia a little bit later in the program. Before that, we're going to do some of these questions. Jesse's got a few. I can see some already popping up in the YouTube chat.
This is going to be popular. The text line is blowing up. This is a popular thing. People ask Jason anything is going to go over very well today. I can already tell.
Well, I am going to ask you, do you want to go to Thanalysis Live? If so, we've got a pair of tickets that you can win right now, courtesy of McDonald's, to Gruber Lofts' Thanalysis Live. It is back, and now's your chance to win. Caller number 7. Caller 7 right now, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 7 right now wins 2 tickets to Thanalysis Live on March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Join Thanasis and some surprise guests. Last year it was his brother Giannis and ESPN's Stephen A. Smith that were there. You never know what Thanalysis will bring in 2025. And if you don't win tickets here on Wilde and Tausch, you can still get your tickets to Gruber Lofts' Thanalysis Live right now by visiting ESPN Milwaukee's and ESPN Madison's social media channels to find out event and ticket information. Excitement and entertainment you can't get anywhere else. It's Gruber Lofts' Thanalysis Live, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino, and Carbless, also supported by the Prisoner Wine Company and McDonald's. Caller 7 right now wins 2 tickets. We'll get to some of your questions and some of Jesse's for me next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Madison's new home of Milwaukee Brewers baseball.
Churio, a high fly ball. Back, track, bye, baseball!
100.5 ESPN, your new home of the Milwaukee Brewers.
I knew that we were going to be getting engaged soon and needed to do some ring shopping. Heard the radio ads of Chalmers and decided, hey, we should give it a shot at Chalmers.
They were just awesome at accepting us through the door and understanding what she wanted in terms of how she wanted it, and they delivered.
Everybody always is telling me how sparkly my ring is. They tell me that they really like the style of the ring and the setting that it's in. I am ecstatic with it.
Thank you, Chalmers.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste. Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
We are with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Our Pella team simplifies the process, taking time to listen and find the right solution for you. And right now, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. If you're looking for a place where you can better yourself while having a wonderful atmosphere, you have it at the Princeton Club. Strong communities, strong body, and strong mind. All it takes is one small step to start today. You will see that you have everything you need in order to achieve all of your goals. Find your better tomorrow at the Princeton Club. 8 Madison locations where you go in there, you take a tour, and you realize this is a place for me. Find more at PrincetonClub.net.
Madison's financial challenges need a Dane County-based bank. Starion Bank is a full-service community bank that delivers quality big bank services with a local approach. We are proud to be there for any budding entrepreneur or small businesses, helping them exceed their financial goals from banking to lending to cash management. Visit a banker at one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, taking you farther.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Give 'em hell, time to hate.
Congrats to Dominic in New Berlin for winning 2 tickets to Thanalysis Live, Gruber Law Offices Thanalysis Live, March 29th at Potawatomi Casino and Hotel. Jesse, are we going to give away one more pair of those tickets, or are we done?
That was our last one for the week, just now.
Dominic has been listening every day for 2 years, Riley tells me.
Wow.
I don't know if we fact-checked that, but I'm sure he's telling the truth.
Sounds good to me.
But good for him to get it in the last opportunity.
Yeah.
If you didn't win there, we're donezo.
That is a really fun event, by the way. Everyone had such a great time at it last year. If you want to, purchase tickets to go, not just take the free ones that we've been offering this week, purchase tickets to go check it out. Thanalysis Live at Potawatomi on March 29th is a really awesome event. You're going to have a great time if you end up going. Yesterday, both winners were named Chad.
Chad.
Yep.
Wow.
We had a Chad in the 9 o'clock hour, a Chad in the 11 o'clock hour were our 2 winners yesterday.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Congrats to Chad and Dominic and whoever the other 2 winners were earlier in the week. All right, Jesse, have you been curating questions or are you pawning that job off on Riley?
No, I will curate some questions here on the carbless ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Lists is more. They're also coming in on Twitter, on Facebook, and in the ESPN Madison and ESPN Milwaukee YouTube live stream chats where the dwellers who the round table just isn't catching on, John. Sorry. We're not going to call you the round table. I'm not going to call you the round table ever. If you want to call yourself the round table, that's great. I'm not going to call you that. Jason's probably not going to. He tried. It's probably not going to catch on. Just want to give you a heads up, John. I'll ask your question in a little bit, but I'm going to start with Steve in SoCal. This is a great leadoff question because it ties in a little bit of everything that's going on today. So this is a good leadoff batter here for Ask Wilde Anything. Hey, Jason, says Steve in SoCal.
Hey, Steve.
I see Greg Gard showing incredible flexibility with NIL and bringing in new players. I saw Ron Wolf bring in key vets to bring the Packers over the top and to the Super Bowl twice. What do you think the Packers' chances are getting to the Super Bowl with the current leadership and what I see as a rigid philosophy when it comes to bringing in key older players?
Yeah, it's a good question, Steve in SoCal, which, by the way, top of the morning to you. It's 7:38 out there,
bright
so
and early.
Thanks for tuning in. Look, it's not fair, in my opinion, to say that Goody is super rigid because he did add Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs last year, right? But I do think he's rigid in that 30-something being a clear line of demarcation for guys he's willing to add. I disagree with him philosophically, but I agree with him that it's a young man's game. All I'm asking for, if I'm a Packers fan, is 2 or 3 of those Eric Wilson, inexpensive veteran guy types. Because if you're signing free agents, the Xavier McKinneys, who are ascending players coming off their first contract with another team who is foolish enough to let them out the door, those are smart moves. They are. They were smart when it was Zadarius Smith and Adrian Amos in 2019, along with Preston Smith and Billy Turner. He doesn't do it often. He picks his spots. But I think overall he's done a good job of that. I do think, in my opinion, that it is a blind spot to not have established, inexpensive veterans who have been there and done that, who can go in when you have guys that are missing time with injury. And the linebacker position is going to be interesting because that's just my example. They're excited about how Quay Walker seemed to turn the corner last year, how Edgerrin Cooper looks like a stud. You didn't see much of Tyron Hopper, but they like Isaiah McDuffie. But I still think someone like Eric Wilson, and it doesn't have to be him specifically, but those types of players have value. So that's where I would say he's rigid. But look, they are clearly counting on a bunch of improvement from the guys they already have. And when you listen to, which we played yesterday, that urgency remark, it clearly did not apply to Goody. Goody was not applying it to himself. He was applying it to their existing players to have an urgency to improve and not waste opportunities. That was the point of his message. He didn't look at it from his own perspective, clearly, because he did not show significant urgency during the offseason acquisition period.
As a follow-up to that, Jesse in Sun Prairie here with a question for you, Jason.
This will be good.
Thanks, Kay Adams. What is your philosophy on the argument of bites at the apple from leadership of sports organizations versus going all in? If you were running your own professional sports organization, the Brewers consistently, one of their critiques, but also one of the things that they're best at is continuing to be in the mix for a playoff berth and a chance to make a run at the postseason every year. For the Packers fans, it's been an age-old debate. Getting into the postseason versus spending a little extra and knowing you might have a couple of down years to go all in for a window, a year or two, to try and really get that Super Bowl title. Across other sports, you hear it too. What if you were running your own professional sports team, would you go all in and mortgage a little bit of the future at times and know you'll have a couple of down rebuilding years to try and have those 2 to 3 years, let's say, of true legit Super Bowl titles? You've done everything you can, or do you like the consistent bites at the apple approach to be in the mix every year but maybe not the best assembled roster?
Yeah, it's a good question, Jesse from Sun Prairie. I think we've seen teams do it both ways, right? You saw, obviously, the Rams who said blank them picks and made all those moves, and it paid off. They won a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford as their quarterback, and then they had a couple of down years, and now they seem to be bouncing back upward. They'll still have to figure out what they're going to do post-Stafford at quarterback, but I prefer the bites at the apple, and I think the 2010 team is proof of that. You know, it was great that they were so star-spangled awesome in 11, but you can have the best team, and if you play your worst game on the worst possible day at the worst possible time, you're out. And that was one of the best offenses in NFL history, but they didn't show up on the day that they played the Giants, and they got beat at home. Whereas if you have a team that is competitive, then you need things to fall your way during the playoffs. But every team needs things to fall their way during the playoffs. Frankly, the way the Eagles played in that game against the Packers lost that game. The Eagles didn't win that game. Like, everything from T.J. Slayton getting a stupid penalty to keep the field goal drive alive that puts it into a 12-point game, everything from that to the 4 turnovers, like, those are the types of games that if you don't play well and the other team does, you go home. And the Eagles are the Super Bowl champions this year. The Packers in 2010 got hot at the right time. They had talent, and they got hot at the right time. I would much rather have a chance to have a chance, as Chili would say, every year than mortgage my future, not get it done, and then be wandering in the wilderness when you don't get it done.
Robin Waukesha spells my name wrong and says Jesse asks longer questions than Jason. That's rude.
And it's not true. Like,
That's
my
not
questions
true.
are way longer.
Come on.
Yeah.
All
right.
Ask Jason anything. Off to a good start. I like this.
It is. There's a host of questions in the YouTube comments as well. I know Riley is also. I'm sure Riley's got all kinds of questions because Riley, big question guy.
I love questions.
You can save those. Well, you were asking some really good questions during your sideline reporting. I caught some of that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Having covered the WIAA State Wrestling Tournament during my earlier years as a reporter at the State Journal, it's a lot. There's a lot going on at once. It's kind of overwhelming. I would not have watched had you not been on the TV broadcast. But once I found out you were on, it was worth investigating.
Thank you.
As someone who likes to ask questions, like, what do you ask a wrestler when they win? Like, how? Like, you
take me through that reversal.
Yeah. You ask a quarterback after a game, like, what'd you see on that final drive? That, like, you found Devontae deep down the right side. What'd you see at the line of scrimmage? What do you ask a wrestler? Like, hey, did you think you could? Really, like, were you stronger than the other person? Like,
so let me take you behind the curtain a little bit. So we actually pre-planned based on who we thought would win, generally, who I would be asking questions to. So I had time ahead of time. I prepared questions based on who I thought would win, on their future, on their season, stuff like that. So I had questions ready to go. But then there were some random ones, like, I forget his name, but I remember he ended up with a black eye after his match. It was the best match of the whole tournament. Just back and forth, overtime, championship match. Kid comes and he is beaten up. He needed to go to the locker room. He had an ice pack on his eye. And I asked him, like, what was going through your mind when you're going to overtime after you got the crap beaten out of you? How were you able to dig deep and finish this off and pull out the state title your senior year? You're ending on a high note. What's the feeling? Stuff like that.
What was his answer?
How did it feel to get the
it was very,
crap kicked out of you?
Yeah.
You asked the guy that?
Probably a little more flowery than that and softer, but generally that was the intention. His answer was very tired.
My eye hurts. Let me go to the locker room.
That was very implied during the interview. It was not my best interview.
Well, that one I didn't see. I saw the other ones, which were much better. Then, so I'm glad I
didn't
tuned
put that
in at
one
the right time.
Didn't put that one in the reel.
All right, we will get to more of your questions on Ask Wilde Almost Anything. Almost being the operative word there. We will get to those questions coming up after Tausch tells us you don't have to ask him which beer he prefers. He's been very clear about that from the very beginning. Tausch tells us about Coors Light. We get to more of your questions next. With Jesse Nelson as our cousin sub of the day, it's Wilde and Tausch.
Mark Tauscher here for the Blue Mountains of cold, refreshing Coors Light. Whether you're tailgating pregame, enjoying your experience during the game, or celebrating a big win after the game, or you just need a moment to chill, crack open a Rocky Mountain cold Coors Light. Coors Light is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it's cold packaged, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains on Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans, they turn blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories. Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
We're on the Brewers.
They're really good at identifying talent. They're really good at developing talent.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
This is one of the best organizations in Major League Baseball.
100.5 ESPN. You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Room for worry? National College analyst Josh Pastner says no to any doubtful Badger fans. 4 of Wisconsin's 9 losses coming within the last month. Pastner's words on trusting the Badgers during his appearance on the Jump Around.
To me, it's not a red flag. You've got to look at the overall body of work. For the most part, they've been really good. And you want to see how teams are playing as of late. And they just went to the Big Ten championship game. And so I wouldn't have any concern with some of those losses. And look, the facts are the facts. The Big Ten's a tough league. I wouldn't have any concerns where Wisconsin is right now. I like their draw. If they win a BYU game, that will be the game to watch in the round of 32.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Free Food Friday on ESPN Madison is brought to you by Vintage Brewing Company. Whether you're looking to get carry-out, delivery, or dine in, Vintage Brewing has lots of great options on their menu. Vintage Brewing Company prides themselves on being a great place to hang out and enjoy classic Midwestern hospitality. Vintage Brewing Company has multiple award-winning beers, so be sure to try one the next time you're in. Head to VintageBrewingCompany.com to make a reservation today. That's VintageBrewingCompany.com.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Look, we all know that as we age, our bodies change. But Carbon World Health can help. They have a process of testosterone replacement therapy that includes a diagnostic exam and blood tests to assess your hormone levels to make sure that they are optimal for you, not optimal for your age. Carbon World Health can help you increase your energy, focus, and overall health with their approach to hormone therapy. It's all about quality of life for you. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
Outside In. That's what we call our Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road. All the cool stuff you want outside in your yard displayed inside. Patios, decks, pavers, and an automated pergola, fire pit, outdoor kitchen, a putting green, and in-ground pool. Even a converting 3-season room that's either outside or inside. We are Outdoor Living Unlimited. Your outdoor living potential awaits you at our Outside In showroom, 2018 South Stoughton Road. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Get ready, Madison. The Packers Tailgate Tour rolls back into town on Wednesday, April 9th. Hey, it's Molly Brown from Jim, Matt, and Molly. Join us in supporting Dairyland Sports, a Madison-based nonprofit improving access to sports, fitness, and recreation for individuals with physical disabilities in Wisconsin. Learn more and support the cause at dairylandsports.org/Packers Tailgate. And stay tuned to ESPN Madison for your chance to win VIP tickets to the Packers Tailgate Tour. Sponsored by Visit Verona, Paul's Party, and ESPN Madison.
Wilde And Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
I'm not afraid of getting older. I want less day from dying young. I see the light go past my shoulder. I want less day from dying young. And I'm not afraid of getting older. I want less day from dying young.
We'll get back to more of your Ask Wilde Almost Anything questions momentarily. I did get my women's bracket filled out. Now I got to do the men's in the next commercial break. UCLA, Kiki Rice. She's my favorite current player. She and Paige
I'm surprised
Beckers.
you fill out a bracket. You're not much of a prognosticator.
Yeah, I'm
typically.
not. It's a family thing. I don't enter any of the pools or the ESPN one or anything else. But
What do you guys play for?
Bragging rights. And our girls have it pretty good at this house, so I'm not sure they need to win anything necessarily.
Like pick where you go to dinner one night or something. That could be
That's
fun.
a good idea. That's a good idea. We'll have to hash that out, see who wins the women's bracket and the men's bracket. Riley, good story about your interviewing skills. Do we have any update on that from the Carbless Talk and Text line?
We do, from a 608 number, so if they'd like to identify themselves, feel free to text
Maybe
back.
it's the wrestler who you interviewed.
Maybe it was, but the wrestler with the black eye was Ben Keenbaum from Kiel.
Kiel?
Yes.
Yeah. Raiders.
So, appreciate the update. I remember the name now that I was reminded, but I should have remembered. So thank you, 608 number. Appreciate it.
And kudos to Ben for winning it as a senior and getting interviewed by Riley. All right, what else do we have for these questions? Jesse, what are you doing over there?
Jamarian Bateman. I was looking at my guy's name, too. Jamarian Bateman, Iowa State, Milwaukee Academy of Science. This afternoon.
Yeah, you gave that to us once already, and now you forgot that you did it.
Yeah, and then I forgot his name again. Gotta get that right by 1:15.
I can't wait to tune into this.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
And by the way, it's just to be clear for people that are fans of your work,
which is
not necessarily a large group.
Yeah.
You are only on the radio.
Correct.
Because obviously there is television coverage of this. Are we going to have announcer cam again?
We will. We cannot do it live. There are contractual restrictions, so you can't do announcer cam live, but we will have announcer cam in full force for the WIA Boys Basketball State Tournament. Follow ESPN Madison on all of our social media platforms. There's some fun moments that came from it last year. I'd imagine it'll be back with much revelry again this year.
I want to see more Mike Podol and less Jesse Nelson, just for the record. All right, what else do we have for questions?
Well, it is Ask Jason Anything, almost anything. So, Geriad in Canton, Ohio, great contributor to the show on the Carbless Talk and Text line. Listens more, 844-770-3776. Obviously, Wilde has said for years how he's loved sports and covering them. Had the writer route not panned out, what else would Jason love to do?
I'd be a second grade teacher. I always wanted to, that was my second choice. I always wanted to be a teacher. We are lucky that we've had great teachers for our girls. There's a lot of people that do that job and do it extremely well. I am a big fan of teachers, especially ones that teach at schools where they don't have enough resources, so they end up spending their own money on school supplies and things for their classroom. I don't know how well I would have done. I think I would have been pretty good. I really enjoy the process of helping kids learn how to read. Done that, obviously, with our girls, but also with some volunteer work I've done over the years. So I definitely would have been a teacher. I would have loved to have done that. But this has worked out okay, as it's turned out, although today I'm not quite so sure.
Would you have been like a nice teacher? Would you have been like a stickler kind of teacher?
No, I'm
like, would the kids want to be in your class, or when they saw, oh, I got Wilde this year?
I would say, based on the teams that I've coached and the many players that I've coached, I think I managed to be demanding and kind at the same time. That's kind of my approach. So
best of both worlds. Back to football. Tucker in Wausau, 844-770-3776. Do divisions really matter anymore? With the Lions proposing a reseeding of the playoffs based on record, why even bother with them outside of rivalries and schedule making made easier?
Yeah, this is a very timely question because of the Lions' proposal to basically say, if you have a better record, you get to host a home game even if you didn't win your division and you're just a wild card. This is what the NBA has, right? The NBA, I don't even know. I was talking about this with Gabe Neitzel this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I don't even know what the divisions are anymore. Midwest, is that one? Like, do you know what the NBA divisions are?
Central, and like the Bucks are in the Central Division. That's still a thing. I don't know what all the other names are called. I can tell you
Atlantic?
the teams. Yeah, the Atlantic is one. Pacific, I think, is the Lakers and the Warriors.
They just all they care about Eastern Conference, Western Conference. They don't care about anything in terms of the divisions. They don't matter. I don't like this because I want to complain about inherent fairness or unfairness. How fair is it that the NFC North, with all those good records, played the AFC South, which was arguably the worst division in football? Maybe there's some relativity there that one division had such a great record because they played another division that had a not so great record. I think it's still important to have division winners. I don't think it happens very often where a 14-3 team does not win its division. And by the way, the Packers, great, 11-6, 1-5 in your own division. I think that is still important. So I don't think they should do away with it, but I understand the argument of those who do.
I like divisions. This is the same. It goes back to the college football argument, too, with the 12-team playoff, where the teams that win their conference title games get the first-round bye. Like, that ended up being a disaster this year. Everybody's piling on how awful it was that Boise State had a first-round bye and Ohio State didn't. I loved it. I think it makes the regular season more meaningful. It shows that there's something significant to play for. And the fact that even if you're not having the best year, you still get a home playoff game for winning your division. Like, that's part of the rules that are built in. I like it. I wish they would not do this. And I don't imagine they're going to change it. I think schedule making is like almost entirely dependent on the division system in football. So I feel like there's no way that this is going to change, but I don't want it to change. I love the divisions and the rivalries that come from it. Like, this is something in football that is one of the few things that I don't think has any room for improvement or is broken. I think it's good as is.
Pains me to say this, but I'm Team Jesse on this one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I know you've got some more questions queued up. I'm seeing more in the YouTube comments as well, so be sure to join the chat. Subscribe, like Mark Tauscher says he has, but for some reason he can't chat in there. We will get to more of your questions during the 10 o'clock hour, which will also include an appearance from our buddy Zach Showalter, the former Badger. I just always think about that belt that he does after the three-pointer, and then Chris Chioza ruining it all shortly thereafter. He's scheduled to join us at 10:30. Before that happens, and before Mike Kelly joins us in the 11 o'clock hour, I want to remind you that while I may not want to join the I Agree with Jesse Club very often, I am so glad we joined the not-so-exclusive club of Associated Bank customers because we get the greatest customer service in the industry. They've got the awards to prove it. It includes early pay where you get access to your direct deposit up to 2 days early. It includes credit monitoring and fraud protection, which Lord knows I had that experience. And they made sure they protected me from that, and they'll protect you as well. Plus Packers checking, Badgers checking, and Brewers checking, all available from Associated Bank. So go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. The 10 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
The madness has arrived at Metro Ford of Madison this month. Get behind the wheel of a 2024 Ford F-150 with 3.9% APR for 66 months plus $2,000 flex buy cash, $16.86 cost per thousand borrowed. Or drive away in the 2024 Ford Escape with 1.9% APR for 66 months plus $500 flex buy cash, $15.97 cost per thousand. Don't miss out. These offers end March 31st. Head to Metro Ford of Madison or visit metrofordofmadison.com today.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. My name is Riley Yauk, and this is your Sports Center's update, brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. It's time for some madness, folks. The NCAA tournament round of 64 officially tips off this morning, and you won't have to wait too long to see the Wisconsin Badgers. UW battles the Montana Grizzlies at 12:30 p.m. Central on TNT. Forward Nolan Winter spoke with Pablo Iglesias yesterday evening, and he thinks the Badgers can make a deep run.
Yeah, I mean, people probably won't be able to see it from the outside, but from being on the inside and being within the team, I think the most together team is going to go the furthest in this tournament, the most competitive, and, you got to take pride in the defensive end, and that's what Wisconsin basketball is all about. We take pride in the defensive end and let the offense just kind of flow. We got a very deep team. We go 8, 9, 10 deep sometimes, so it could be anyone's given night, as we've seen. And I mean, yeah, we're not going to be an easy letdown for sure. We know it's Wisconsin basketball, and we got to take pride in what we're doing here in March.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
My name is Riley Yauk. This is your ESPN Madison Sports Center. That was good. That's good stuff. You do a nice job. Young
Thank
man.
you, Jesse. Or Jason. I appreciate that.
Congratulations. That's the last compliment you'll ever get from me.
Fair.
Hey, quick procedural question for you two knuckleheads.
Yes, The Price is Right is on in the studio as we get ready for the NCAA tournament.
Ooh, wouldn't it be something if they did the Yodeler game after we just talked about it?
Also, a reminder, the annual reminder for everyone, Drew Carey took over hosting The Price is Right in 2007. He's been doing this for almost 20 years. He gets no credit for being one of the great game show hosts of a generation, because he followed Bob Barker. This is Aaron Rodgers following Brett Favre in the world of game shows. The Price is Right got this so right with Drew Carey taking over for Bob Barker. He gets no credit because he's not Bob Barker. He's been doing it for almost 20 years. He's really good at it.
Bob Barker hosted the show from 1972 until 2007. He did it for 35 years.
He's closing in on Bob Barker territory. He's halfway to Bob. 18 years he's been doing it. That's an incredible run as a game show host.
He is still, you're right, he is underrated. It pains me to say this. Once again, you are right, he is underrated. At the same time, Bob Barker is among the GOATs. Like, it's Trebek, it's him, it's Sajak.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the other one that we put on the Mount Rushmore of game show hosts?
Tausch isn't here, so we could say Seacrest. Steve Harvey has had a nice run, but not nearly as long.
I was going to say Richard Dawson.
Steve Harvey's had a great run on Family Feud, but not as long as Drew Carey on The Price is Right.
No, that's fair.
Are reality show hosts a totally different category?
Like Probst?
I'm thinking like Jesse Palmer from The Bachelor, also ESPN color commentator for football.
He just started
those
doing
aren't
it like a
game
year ago.
shows.
Yeah.
That's why I
Those
asked,
aren't-
is it a totally
Yeah.
different category?
It's more game show than not, though. Like Jeff Probst, I would argue, should be on the Mount Rushmore of game show / competition show hosts.
A game show has to have new contestants every day, and it's got to be on 5 days a week.
Okay, well, I don't know specific parameters for what a game show
Well,
is.
that's
All
what game
right.
shows are,
Sure.
right? Like your Meredith Vieira in 25 words or less or whatever.
There's this show
or
on
Regis Philbin.
Rob Lowe hosts this show that my friend loves, which is random. I would not expect my friend Corey to like this show, but The Floor on Fox. It was on after the Super Bowl, where it's like it's the same contestants for an entire season, and they go until like one person owns the whole floor, winning it one square at a time. Like
same contestants all season.
so that's
no.
not a game show, even though it's
Nope.
trivia and
Nope.
Like,
Nope. 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 Nope.
Okay.
Nope. 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 Nope.
Well, sorry,
Nope.
Jeff Probst. I guess you don't make the cut then.
The only question now is who's got the fourth spot.
Well, Seacrest, but American Idol doesn't count in Jason's
That's
rule
not
book.
a game
But
show.
now
That's a talent
But now
show.
he does Wheel of Fortune. So based on his career achievement on American Idol, translating to Wheel of Fortune, like you're gonna reset the entire record book on Seacrest? He's got like half a season. No, he's done this for 25 years.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. He's hosted a talent show. The Voice is a talent show. The other ones, you're spinning a wheel. You got the yodeling guy. Some of your other candidates for that fourth spot, because we're giving them to Barker, Trebek, and Sajak. Do we all agree on that?
Oh yeah, those are the three. They're in no matter what.
So Chuck Woolery, Regis Philbin, Monty Hall. Let's make a deal.
Regis is a good one. He didn't like in the grand scheme, not the same longevity as Bob Barker or even Drew Carey, but
for sure.
And his morning talk show doesn't count for his resume for hosting game shows. Captivated a nation though with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for that 3-year window.
That was very big. Peter Marshall, who I think hosted Hollywood Squares long time ago. Jack Barry. Wink Martindale, not to be confused with the defensive coordinator. So there's some good ones there, but we've gotten sidetracked.
If you have to explain who they are to some of the like, you don't have to say Alex
Younger
Trebek,
folks
who hosted Jeopardy.
Yeah, you have to explain almost all of these names to me. So
That's what I was just going to say.
Yep.
You're the perfect test case. Do you know anything about Trebek, Bob Barker, or Pat Sajak? Two you have to know.
I know the names, and I could
Come
probably
on.
pick out their faces, but I couldn't tell you what show they hosted or any other career achievements.
You're mid-20s and you don't know who Alex Trebek is?
I know the name, Alex Trebek. I've heard of him.
Only because he's seen like Saturday Night Live skits on
probably.
YouTube.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to know it
on
for.
X.
That hurts.
Sorry, guys.
Welcome to the Old Persons Club, Jesse. We're happy to have you. What do we got for questions as we roll on with the Ask Wilde Almost Anything concept? Are we running out of them already?
No, we do have plenty still to choose from here on various platforms. I actually had one on YouTube, but I accidentally closed out the window, so sorry, dwellers, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Brandon in Tulsa, I like that this comes with a little attitude with this question. I like this. So here's Brandon in Tulsa. I'm going to keep asking this until Jason answers it, LOL. Here we are. Does Goody really want to win Super Bowls, or does he want to luck into one while being young, cap healthy, and cheap? He's either asking his rookie classes to be integral in chasing a title, or he just doesn't care about winning it all so long as they're competitive, in quotes. I feel like that was more Brandon voicing his opinion than asking you a question, but
It is an opinion. There's no doubt about it.
what
Look,
do you say to that?
We can disagree about his philosophy, and clearly Brandon does, right? But he is the bite at the apple guy. And he does believe that you keep having a young roster and kind of like a slot machine, eventually it's going to hit and pay out with, again, Tausch and I discussed this when we were at Potawatomi. I don't know enough about current slot machines, but the old school style of slot machine, which just had 3 little windows that made it easy to understand whether you won or lost. Eventually, you're going to hit the 3 triple bars, and you're going to win. And it's not going to be a dynasty because very few teams, other than the Patriots and the Chiefs, managed to do that. But, again, clearly Brandon has an issue with Goody's style of building a team. I get it. And he's not alone in that opinion. But it is a young man's game, and if you get too old, then you end up having a very hard time rebuilding. And the Packers, if we're being honest, they've had some good moments, but let's not forget that if there wasn't a 7th playoff spot, we'd be looking at a team that has missed the playoffs each of the last 3 years, including last year when they had an 11-6 record. So they are not clear-cut, oh my gosh, these teams are so good, these Packers teams. They are in that kind of middle ground, and this is the year, I think you hear Tausch saying it in a promo, seats are going to get warm if things do not go better this year than they have over the last 2.
I think Riley has the next one from a special guest contributor that you'll be familiar with.
Oh, I do. From the one and only Jack Rabbit Mama.
Great places, South Dakota.
Jack Rabbit Mama says, I have a question for Jason. He always claims not to be a fan, which I can't really understand. I don't think fandom is a choice. It's an emotional reaction. That being said, he isn't a fan, but his commentary clearly favors the Packers. He obviously wants what is best for the team and their chances to succeed. What is Jason's definition of a fan?
Yeah, I don't root for the outcome. Don't care if they win or lose. I don't. And I wouldn't say... My focus is on the Packers because that's the team I cover, but I'm not crying or disappointed or sad when they lose. That's the emotional part that Jack Rabbit Mama is talking about, and I don't feel that. Now, if UW Oshkosh women's basketball loses in the Final Four, because Brad Fisher is a friend of mine and some of the girls on that team have been awesome to Sydney, I will be sad. So that part of fandom exists for me. When Sydney's team, whatever sport it may be, when their season is over, I am sad. Maddie does a lot of individual sports. She does gymnastics, she pole vaults, she runs track and field, she runs cross country. I'm rooting for her, and certainly I want her team as a whole to do well, but that's one of those weird sports where the team is basically just how many good individual performances do you have, right? And so it's not, the Packers' outcomes do not emotionally affect me. So thank you, Jack Rabbit Mama, because we finally hit on a way to try and explain my lack of fandom. The Brewers, the Bucks, even the Badgers, I love Gardo. He's become a friend of the show. He's been a friend to me. I want his teams to succeed, but if they lose short of the Sweet 16, my day will not be ruined, Jerry. That's the emotional thing that I just lack that, and I understand. It doesn't make any sense to a lot of people, and I hate trying to explain it. But thank you, Jack Rabbit Mama, because I think we finally hit on a way to pseudo-explain it. It is an emotional thing, and I lack that.
I can tell you there's a group in a truck on the way to Dubuque right now that would be their day would be ruined if the Badgers don't win by 16.5 or more today. I can tell you that much.
Different kind of fandom.
I wonder. So you're missing out on that trip because you're calling basketball games.
I will not be there for the Wisconsin game. Another disappointment in the Badgers not playing in Milwaukee tomorrow. That I was really hoping that I'd be able to go tomorrow and join the crew to watch the game in Dubuque. Leave the state while the Badgers are still here, but that's not the case. Instead, I'm up against it. Me and LePay head-to-head competition on the radio dials today.
That's not really a competition. All right. Jesse, you look like you have one more question you want to get to before break.
I did want to do this one. Denver Dan in the YouTube comments, and we'll do more from the dwellers coming up here in the next segment. Cocktail hours, dinners, schmoozing. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much anxiety does Jason have about his tiny little Green Bay town receiving the NFL draft and everything that's going into the preparations for it?
Yeah, I thought Rob Domofsky summed it up pretty well when they first were awarded it, and that was you don't want us to look like podunk, tiny little, overwhelmed by the spotlight of the NFL draft. The more I have talked to folks locally, and also learned that they're not expecting the sheer number of people that have been to some of the other drafts. I was told this week that, or maybe it was late last week, that there were 775,000 people in Detroit last year for the draft. Jesse, you were not one of them, even though you love the city of Detroit.
I couldn't make it for that one. Yeah,
they're expecting more like 250,000 over the 3 days here in Green Bay, which sounds to me like it's much more manageable. And the NFL is focused on the experience, not the sheer number of attendees. And to me, that sounds great, because I think if they're so focused on the history and the experience and the unique nature of Titletown, USA, then I think Green Bay is going to shine. Now, am I looking forward to some of the travel snafus that I'm going to have to deal with? And I know that Goody and LaFleur and the scouts are concerned. I'm sure they've gotten an answer by now, but they were concerned. How do we get into the building? Because remember, the draft, for those guys and for those of us covering it, doesn't change. Like, they still are in the same draft room in their building. Doesn't matter if the draft's in New York or Chicago or Detroit or outside their window. Their MO remains the same. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I'm sure that they'll have some police escorts to get them into Lambeau Field. I doubt that we'll have those, so I'll have to figure out exactly how I'm going to get into the building, but that doesn't change for the Packers. So I think Green Bay is going to shine like a little diamond, but it will not be the big city experience that some other drafts have had.
No anxiety about schmoozing?
I don't think I'm going to do a lot of schmoozing, quite frankly.
Who's there to schmooze with?
I don't know. Like, we're obviously going to be doing shows from the Tundra Trio. I also believe that Channel 3 in Madison, my other outlet, will also be doing some newscasts from there. So it'll be very convenient for me, as both of my employers are right in the same location, so that'll make things easy.
That could be awkward.
TV Jason.
It's like when you have two different friend groups and then they combine when it's like for your bachelor party. You're like, ooh.
I love combining friend groups. I'm actually pretty good at that. So no, I'll be fine with that. But
do we get to meet all the Channel 3 people?
What do you mean we?
Yeah. I got news for you, Riley.
I'm coming up. Doesn't matter.
Somebody's got to. You're going to pull up, as the kids say.
I'm gonna pay for a ticket.
You're going to be back. We got to have somebody running the shop back home, right? Who are we putting in charge of that?
Well, we got Corey and Wally here. They can step in.
Oh boy.
They've got their own boat to steer on some choppy waters, having appeared on the damn sports show once or twice. I'm aware of that.
Wally will still be at the bowling alley trying to knock all those pins down.
He's still on his fasting journey, I believe. So he'll be half the man he used to be by the time we get to the draft in about a month. All right, we've got a few more questions to get to, and then we'll get to Zach Showalter, who will join us to talk Badgers basketball and the NCAA tournament. Before that, now, Jesse, did you and Old T record your prize picks, or are you going to do your Mark Tauscher invitation here?
Tausch is going to tell you about prize picks. I can tell you a lot of players do not fare well in the early sessions. I've learned that over the years. So before Tausch tells you about prize picks, let me just offer some advice if you're interested in such things today. If you've got some players in the early windows, the first and not the first 4 like the round, but the first 4 games of the day today. One of which hits a little close to home. I don't know if there's any like big men in the post who they're less did fairly well for me last weekend in Indianapolis, and I might be on the less train today as well. Early start, little tired, altitude, less, especially first halves, I think could play particularly well on the old Prize Picks app today. Promo code WI.
There are your tips for success from Jesse Nelson as Stephen Crowell goes for 25 in the first half now. Here is Tausch telling you more about Prize Picks, and we'll have more questions next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, and springtime is here and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks lineups. On Prize Picks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports. You can combine your favorite baseball players with players from basketball and hockey and esports and much more. The second half of the basketball season is here, and the push to the playoffs is heating up on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. Download the app today and use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
When you're in the right place at the right time, things get done. The important things, like knowing what you need and how it all works. Talking truck. Fixing it right the first time. At Zimbrick Chevrolet, our people get it done right and now. That's how you know you're in the right place at the right time. And you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Mark Tusher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison. Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Madison athletes seeking elite training need to get started today at Total Athlete Performance. TAP is here to serve and educate the serious athlete with their speed, agility, and semi-private training options. Sessions are now available in both Windsor and their TAP facility inside the Verona Athletic Center. Also access remote training anytime, anywhere with the Total Athlete Performance app. Visit tapwisconsin.com for subscriptions, including monthly payment options. That's tapwisconsin.com.
Staying on Wisconsin sports never stops with the Jump Around podcast.
I think this team can make a run and win games in the tournament. Why? Number one, they defend without fouling. Number two, they don't turn the ball over. Number three, they are fundamentally sound at everything they do. And so I like this team to win games.
The Jump Around podcast with Jim Rutledge and Pablo Iglesias, streaming live every Thursday at 12:30 on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
You're
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
When it comes to your body, you want to trust a doctor, and you want to trust the experts. That's why the only place that you should consider going for GLP-1s and semaglutide is Carbon World Health in Madison, because they're run by Dr. Nestor Rodriguez. They have a workout facility and trainers to help you reach your goals, and they can help with dietary suggestions. The experts for semaglutide and GLP-1s are Carbon World Health. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
We're on the Packers.
I just don't feel like Goody hits the home runs that merit holding on to draft picks like they're absolute gold. Because his first-round draft pick isn't gold.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
All right, we'll take a break from these Ask Will D Almost Anything questions because we want to get to Zach Showalter coming up next. Did you ever get to the end of doing your bracket and then decide you hate your bracket?
Oh, all the time, yeah. You get to the Final Four, you're like, what did I just do?
Yeah. Yep. Iowa State, Wisconsin, St. John's, and Tennessee. I don't think I'm going to win our pool.
That St. John's pick, not going to be great.
You don't think so, huh?
You're down on the Johnnies?
Yeah, they're the popular, like, oh, it's Rick Pitino. The Johnnies are going to make a run, going to get him his first
They're not
natty.
First of all, the St. John's Johnnies are the Division III school in Minnesota.
I know, but it's fun to call them the Johnnies.
Yeah.
Everyone calls them the Johnnies.
All the Saints, the Marys, the
Red
Bonnies,
Storm,
the Joeys, the Johnnies. They're all fun. The Frannies, St. Francis.
I feel much better about my women's bracket than I feel about my men's. But it's all in good fun. And, hey, if Wisconsin's in the Final Four under Gardo, I don't care about the rest of the bracket.
Are we in agreement it's a lot more fun to fill out a bracket printed than it is to, like, click it? Like, it's a lot more convenient.
Absolutely.
100%. But this is fun. Having your little paper copy right in hand, checking it off when you get a team wrong. You get to X them all out. Nothing like it.
I went 31-1 one year in the first round. It was great, and I still lost the pool because all my Final Four teams were wrong. We will ask Zach Showalter if I was looking at the world through cardinal and white glasses to put Wisconsin in my Final Four. He has been on great Wisconsin teams, and he's had some signature moments, and he's been a friend to our show for a very long time. I actually thought we were going to have him on a regular basis. I thought we were in some sort of negotiations. The showy show, it would be like the show within the show.
It could happen still. I don't know. We have to punt on the idea yet.
Well, I feel like I talked to him about this at like our golf outing like 2 or 3 years ago. And he's a dad. He's a success in his business world. Like, he doesn't have time for us, but he's making time for us today.
Because no one's actually working today because it's March Madness and the Badgers play in 2 hours. Yeah.
It's very fair. I can tell you this, though. They're working at Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. And hopefully you never have to make that call. That means you've never been injured in an accident. But if you have been, you want somebody fighting for you that's been there and done that. Veteran, experience, leadership, and that's what Gruber Law Offices can offer. Plus, you don't pay until they win your case. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all. We make a call to our friend Zach Showalter and talk to him next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
The madness has arrived at Metro Ford of Madison this month. Get behind the wheel of a 2024 Ford F-150 with 3.9% APR for 66 months plus $2,000 flex buy cash, $16.86 cost per thousand borrowed. Or drive away in the 2024 Ford Escape with 1.9% APR for 66 months plus $500 flex buy cash, $15.97 cost per thousand. Don't miss out. These offers end March 31st. Head to Metro Ford of Madison or visit metrofordofmadison.com today.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
We are with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Our Pella team simplifies the process, taking time to listen and find the right solution for you. And right now, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Service. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Introducing the newest carbless flavor, Mango Vodka. Flavored with the essence of the ripest, freshest mangoes, Carbless Mango Vodka will transport your taste buds to a sunny beach getaway. New flavor, still the same carbless crafted cocktails with 0 carbs, 0 sugars, and only 100 calories. Enjoy a refreshing vodka cocktail without the guilt. 4 packs of the new Carbless Mango Vodka cocktail are available in stores near you. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com and escape with every sip.
The madness is back, and so is your chance at proving your hoops knowledge. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. Fill out a bracket, earn the most points at the end of the tourney, and get a $1,000 gift card to Cousin Subs. Fill out your bracket on ESPN.com or the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. Just search ESPN Wisconsin and enter the password Cousins, all lowercase. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. They believe in better.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
Brewers baseball is in the air.
It's back, and it is up, and it is gone. A walk-off homer for Vinny Capra.
Spring back into the baseball season on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Showalter.
I love this guy, but man, I wish that moment had not been ruined by Chris Chiozza. It is our good buddy Zach Showalter on Wilde And Tausch. Zach, this time of year, I'm about to post the GIF again You're giving the belt to Aaron Rodgers. You hit this clutch, enormous, off-balance, leaning three-pointer. You have obviously gone on to live a healthy, happy life. But when this comes up, is it a great memory or is it a, yeah, that was great until Chioza ruined it memory?
Yeah, it's bittersweet. Can you guys hear me all right here?
You sound great.
It is bittersweet. I would have loved the Ben Brust celebration that followed the Michigan shot. If we could have kept that type of finish, but it's still something people come in, talk to me about on the streets, and mention anytime you're talking to a Badger fan. So I had my March Madness moment. Unfortunately, it didn't end in a win, but there's only one winner in this tournament, as you all know.
Are you working today?
I have 2 client review meetings. We have one this morning. I have one this afternoon, unfortunately. So I heard you say that.
What?
Nobody works.
You're Zach
Showy
Showalter.
works.
You hit one of the most memorable shots in Wisconsin basketball history, and you have a meeting during the game this afternoon?
It's not during the game. I made sure it wasn't during the game, Jesse. The stock market doesn't stop for March Madness, unfortunately. There's money.
No, it stops because of tariffs.
What's the matter with you?
Dude,
I gotta do my job.
seriously.
I got a 2-year-old.
You are, yes, we discussed fatherhood recently when I saw you last. I am curious, though. So how do you manage to block off basketball time when you do the job that you do? Like, the market is still going to be shifting at 12:30.
I will be answering the phones if clients are calling to ask about what's going on in their accounts. I may have an iPad screen pulled up next to me with an eye on the TV as well as the stock market, but that's the reality of today. Things come at you fast, life comes at you fast, but here we are.
Should I buy or sell, Zach? Yeah, I would think you should. Oh, Tanjay, what a shot! Yeah, sell. I got to get back to the game.
I don't know what Mike Wilkinson does for a living, but is he doing his job during the game at 12:30 on a Thursday? All you guys just should take the day off, and everyone should understand that that's universally acceptable. If you're an alum of the team, if you hit one of the best shots in program history in the NCAA tournament, I think if you want to carve out a couple hours one afternoon because the team plays, it's okay.
Zach, just ignore him. He is always looking for ways to get out of work. So this is one of his areas of expertise.
I consider myself an expert in this field. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would sign up for it. Unfortunately, I got to tell you, all of our clients are not Badger fans. Surprisingly, not everybody is a sports fan. There's a whole different world. It's new to me, shocking development, but I'm learning as we go, gents.
Well, I'm sure you have some Marquette clients, too, and they don't have to worry about this until tomorrow. All right, Shoei, talk to me a little bit about what you've seen from this Badgers team this year. You know, we've got a certain co-host who's on his springtime sabbatical who predicted they are a Final Four team. I'm taking his advice. I filled out my bracket, and I'm pulling for Gardo and the guys to get there. But what have you seen as you've watched this team evolve through the course of the season, and how are you feeling about it now after the Big Ten tournament compared to how maybe you were feeling after the way they kind of finished the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a pleasant surprise for everybody. It sounds like the guys and the coaches in the locker room weren't surprised. I feel like they've known what they've had with some of the surprises of Tanjay and guys making a jump. Your Nolan's made a huge jump this year. Big Steve's had some moments where he's shown flashes. So they've got a lot of depth on this team with guys like Janicki who are coming in and giving good minutes. That's what we had in those years when we had success. So when you kind of put all the pieces of the puzzle together, you got experienced guys like Klesmit who has done it in big moments. You've got Blackwell who is a sidekick, a Batman maybe or a Robin to Tanjay's Batman. It's fun to watch this group play, and we've been to a couple games this year with some big wins with that Arizona game in particular. So it's fun to be back in this conversation with, hey, a team that could potentially make a nice run. You got a 3 seed. The path it could be worse. Obviously, you'd love to be in Milwaukee, but you play with the cards that are dealt and see what's going to happen here. So I'm a little conflicted looking out my window and seeing snow outside this time of the year. It doesn't quite feel like the March Madness of the past, but we roll with the punches.
So, Shoei, you redshirted on the 14 Final Four team, and then you saw obviously action on the 15 team, right? Am I remembering your career correctly?
Yep.
What are if you were to say, because Gardo obviously has been there plenty, so I get that. But if you're saying here are a couple of things that are critical to being where you want to be in the tournament, and that is to the Sweet 16 and then the Elite 8 and then the Final Four. What are some of the things that those teams had in common? Because we can talk all we want about Chiozza, but you guys were on the precipice of getting there again. You guys obviously had a formula. What were some of the key pieces to that when you were playing?
Yeah, I think like I mentioned, deep bench, guys that can come in and you don't have a drop-off there this time of year, especially when you've played 4 games the prior week and you've got another Thursday quick turnaround. So if you've got those bench guys to relieve minutes, I think that's what our successful teams had. You've got 1 or 2 options where when you're up by 3 with 4 minutes to go, you're getting the ball to those guys in their hands, whether that's your Kaminsky's, your Deckers, your Gossers, or your Bronson Koenigs. We really had one, but Bronson was Bronson and Nigel, but Bronson tended to come out big in those moments, and you can do that in March, and then just make free throws. I think that's the other key. This team, obviously, we see the stat every single game we watch. They make shots from the line at a high clip. When you can do that in March, you're gonna win a lot of those tight games and put yourself in a good position to keep advancing.
Talking with Zach Showalter on Wilde And Tausch with Jesse and as our cousin sub of the day, which I still can't believe I'm saying that. Shoei, I'm curious, when you look at this team and the landscape of college basketball, it's not like you've been out of college for that long, right? You work in the real world, you're married, you're a dad, I get all that stuff. But it's not like you played I'm not talking to Tracy Webster here, right? I'm not talking to Danny Jones and Trent Jackson. And yet, it feels to me like when you played compared to now with NIL and the transfer portal, you played in the dark ages, comparatively speaking. What's it like as you watch this unfold now, in addition to watching the markets? And what is your feeling about the way Gardo has handled an era that is, as we've all called it, kind of the Wild West?
Yeah, I wouldn't trade my experience for anything these guys are going through now, unless they make it to the Final Four and do what we did. I think the bonding in the locker room, just feel that we had is tough to replicate with guys who grew up Badger fans and went through the ranks, and you kind of earn your stripes along the way. There's something special about that. That being said, this Wisconsin team has got a lot of that still. Steve, Max, Kamari, I know Kamari started at Green Bay, but other than Tanjay, most of these guys are recruits from around the area. They're typical Wisconsin recruits who have developed and learned to play together. They've figured out defensive principles and studied and listened to what coaches are telling them and have improved over the last couple of years. So I feel like Wisconsin might be unique in that regard. Obviously, Marquette with not many transfers, if any. I don't think Marquette had any transfer action this offseason. They're in that conversation as well. So we're kind of isolated, I feel like, as Wisconsin sports fans to the transfer portal that is out there with some of these other bigger schools, your Louisvilles, your Kentuckys that are spending top dollars. So that being said, Gardo's dealt with a lot of criticism over the last 9 years, but he really does a heck of a job of just shaking it off and focusing on the task at hand, taking it one day at a time. He's got an incredible staff of leaders around him with your Krabenhoffs, your Steemsmas, your Sharif Chamblises of the world, who are helping guys develop and navigate not just the basketball world, but school and transfer portal, all that stuff. So there's a lot of staples there that lead to successful programs, and we're seeing that for a team that was underappreciated going into this year.
Speaking of guard stock being up, see what I did there for you? That was pretty good.
You're very clever.
So the stock is up in large part because the offense has evolved so much this year. What does it look like now compared to what it looked like for you? And did you ever think you'd see Greg Gard's team scoring 80, 90 a game on a regular basis?
No, I mean, it works for this team really well. Somebody asked me the other day how I would have liked playing in that system. I don't know that I would have been able to. I was so exhausted on certain possessions on the offensive side of the court from chasing typically the best guard around on the other side on defense that I would catch my breath a little bit as the two-man kind of staying on the other side waiting to be open with Nigel and Bronson going to work. But it's worked. You got the ball in your big man's hands a lot, which is different, but pick and roll is the name of the game now in today's day and age, and they've evolved. Credit to the whole staff with Kirk Penny obviously being a big influence, and we'll see how it plays in March.
We had a big debate last week, or I'm even coming out of the weekend, about the conference tournament and the value of playing 4 games in 4 days, and then how Wisconsin ended up in a tough spot having to go to Denver and play one of the first games on Thursday. What was your philosophy as a player? And you had a couple of different experiences in the Big Ten tournament, making deep runs and not. What was your philosophy around the conference tournament and how it could impact how you're feeling heading into the big dance?
Yeah, again, it's a tough spot to be in. You want to be playing your best basketball this time of year, so you want to play well in that Big Ten tournament and go in to this week with some momentum. So you don't want to lose that first or second game. That's why it's so important to get that top 4 bye. Is what was always the conversation throughout the year. Is you want to put yourself in the best place to succeed and not be exhausted come March. I don't love the quick turnaround. I know they're putting a good attitude and saying the right things. Max's injury and dealing with that, I don't know what the extent of it is at all, but you want to be as healthy as you can be this time of the year because it gets to be crazy. You're playing on a Thursday, Saturday, then maybe a Thursday, Saturday again. That being said, you just take care of the job and you don't worry about those things when the ball's thrown up. You just go out and hoop.
Talking with Zach Showalter on Wilde and Tausch. All right, Zach, a couple things before we let you go. How far do you have your Badgers in your bracket, and do you pick with your heart, or being a financial wizard, do you force yourself to think in terms of accuracy and actual expectations and not your heart?
I've got 2 brackets this year, which I typically only do 1.
Oh.
This will be interesting because I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm going to see how things go in the first round, and then I choose which one I'm going to focus on potentially. I've got Wisconsin winning one of them.
And then you have your real bracket. No, I'm just kidding.
I think Wisconsin and that Wisconsin Duke game is really, if we get to that point, that's going to be, I don't know about it, if it's on the level of Wisconsin Kentucky from 2015, but I mean, if Cooper's healthy, and Con Knipple obviously, which I'm sure you guys have been talking about quite a bit. My dad was very good friends with his dad, so I grew up watching those two play over the years, and it's fun seeing Con now get to play at the highest level. So I've got Duke, to answer your question, winning my other one. So between the two, let's see what happens.
It's the pivotal game right there. All right, last thing for you so we can let you get back to the markets. How do you fill the basketball void from your playing days now? Are you playing City League ball? Are you just getting your little one ready for a basketball career? What is your how do you get your basketball fix besides watching it?
Yeah, so I am officially retired from playing. Tore my Achilles 2 years ago in a men's league tournament up here, and that is not fun to come back from. So I am a golfer and a dad is how I would how I would describe it. I don't get much basketball time these days, other than if my daughter wants to shoot it in her little Tykes hoop that we've got at home. But I watch, and I've turned the page into golf. That is my new, I wouldn't say obsession, but my new way to step away from the world, my new escape, so to speak, which basketball was for the first 28 years of my life. I've got a long ways to go as a golfer, but that's kind of filled that void, to answer your question.
Did you give Rodgers any advice on his comeback from his Achilles? Or, I mean, I know you guys got to be tight during the tournament run. Did you correspond with him, compare notes on Achilles problems?
I did send him a few messages. I don't think I've heard back from him on it.
That's
but
not
I did
unusual.
reach out and just say, dude, what you're going through, I do not envy you because it is the worst.
Wow. And he came back and played. There's still hope. Maybe we could get you to at least games. You got to be playing like horse or something, right? I mean, and plus you could beat somebody like Jesse.
He retired, Jason. You heard him. He retired.
Well, I am sad to hear that because we loved watching you play, and I'm excited that you've taken up golf. I am being forced to take up golf again myself by our girls. It is not going well for me, so I hope it's going better for you. It takes a while to get the swing back, but Shoei, we love it when we have an excuse to talk to you, and today's been a great day. The offer is still there, because Lord knows, well, Tausch thinks he knows a lot about basketball. I know I don't know nearly as much as you do. So when we need insight, you're the first one off the bench for us. So if the markets allow, we always love it when you join us, buddy. Thanks.
He can't even make time to watch the game this afternoon. You think he's going to make time for us on a weekly basis?
Don't let Jesse push you around.
Jesse will text me at like 10 and be like, hey, can you hop on the show at 10:30 here? I'm like, dude, I got a schedule. I don't know what to do, but I got things going on.
That sounds very much on brand.
That is accurate. Yeah, that actually is how that works. Yeah.
Shoei, have a great day. Enjoy the tournament. Enjoy fatherhood and everything else. You're one of the all-time good guys, buddy. We appreciate you. Thanks.
No, I appreciate you, fellas. Take it easy.
That is Zach Showalter. Jesse, do you ask our guests specifically to come on video? It is such a neat additional kind of bonus.
Yeah. Usually we try to, if we can, have many of our guests appear on video when they can, and Zach was able to do it today, which is awesome. I still can't believe he's at work today. Like, I will never know what it's like to be a former athlete at the level that he was at, but I can't fathom having played for the University of Wisconsin men's basketball team, and even, like, no matter what, I know most college athletes don't go on to be pros in the sports that they play. They go on to do other things like Zach has, and that's awesome, and I'm glad he's successful. How do you not take off the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament if you're Zach Showalter? Yeah. Or if you're, like, anybody that's ever been on, like, there was this decade and a half of Badgers teams in the NCAA tournament every year. Every player on those teams, how are they going to work their day jobs when the Badgers play at 12:30 on a Thursday?
Yeah, Jesse, I think you have a skewed view of, like, the real world where people have, like, actual jobs as opposed to the fun jobs that you and I have. Like, I'm sure Zach loves doing what he does, but it is work, and there are responsibilities.
Like, what's John Lure doing today? Like, there's no way John Lure is at the office today.
That's who you chose to pull, by the way.
I don't know who else. Like, some of the guys are actually, like, I couldn't go Nigel Hayes. I think he's still playing pro somewhere. Like, I don't know, Brad Davison. Like, what's he doing today? Like, there's no way.
Well,
Brad...
why don't you text Brad? Here. You've got Brad's number, right? He's been on our show before. You haven't saved it in your phone?
Yeah, I might. I think
all right,
I got
text
his.
Brad Davison. I'm sure. I don't know if the Bus family is listening today or not. I know they've been very supportive of our show. Tyra, who obviously is Brad's wife, find out what Brad Davison is doing today. And if he's taking the day off of work, kudos to him. He's following the Jesse Nelson plan. But bottom line, some people do have to work. And just because you're an expert at taking days off doesn't mean everyone is like that. We'll see if we can get an answer from Brad and others.
I do love that the fact that Zach Showalter being a stockbroker totally furthers the stereotype that a guy who is going to be like some random business major can just destroy a team full of NBA prospects in March. It's just awesome.
You're right. You're right about that.
What's
Riley?
Jared Bergeron up to today?
Jesse trying to find obscure Badgers that he can reference. We will
Vito Brown.
We will find out what
Vito's playing piano somewhere today.
Whoever played for the Badgers is doing for work. I do think we found out more about Jesse and his philosophy about going to work than maybe Zach Showalter's.
Just take the day off.
That should be your motto. You should just have T-shirts made that say that. That's your mentality. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
We're on the Bucks.
He's one of those guys that can absolutely dominate. He can activate that MVP mode.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
And you know when Giannis is right, he can carry his team across the finish line.
Madison's home of the Bucks. 100.5 ESPN. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Test rest a Beauty Rest Black for your chance to win a dream Hawaiian vacation. Shop now and save up to $400 on Beauty Rest Black mattresses only at Steinhoffels. Room for worry? National College analyst Josh Pastner says no to any doubtful Badger fans. 4 of Wisconsin's 9 losses coming within the last month. Pastner's words on trusting the Badgers during his appearance on the Jump Around.
You've got to look at the overall body of work. For the most part, they've been really good, and you want to see how teams are playing as of late. I wouldn't have any concern with some of those losses. And look, the facts are the facts. The Big Ten's a tough league. I wouldn't have any concerns where Wisconsin is right now. I like their draw. If they win a BYU game, that will be the game to watch in the round of 32.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. Summer is coming, which means it's time to start thinking about your summer job. Madison School and Community Recreation is now hiring for a whole bunch of positions. Here's just a few of them, including day camp and youth program leaders, outdoor adventure staff, support staff for individuals with disabilities, sports instructors, my personal favorite, officials, and a whole lot more. And the best thing about working with MSCR during the summer is that they have full-time and part-time positions with daytime and evening hours available. So no matter what your situation is, no matter your interest, no matter your schedule, if you have another full-time job, you just want to pick up some extra cash on the side, or you're looking for some full-time work, you're a college student coming home for the summer, or the parent of a college student looking for some work this summer, there's a position for everyone. At MSCR, you can make an immediate impact in the community and gain meaningful experience. The experience I had working as an official when I was a kid is stuff that I've translated for the rest of my life. It's so valuable. Start your summer adventure today. Apply at MSCR.org.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. Well, this time of year, it feels like every day is a big game day, and you need a winning pizza lineup to celebrate. Pepperoni, sausage and mushrooms, or ham, pineapple, and bacon? Well, the choice is yours. And right now, you get a large 3-topping original stuffed crust pizza for just $11.99 at Pizza Hut. Available for delivery or carryout, you can create your perfect pizza no matter the game plan for just $11.99. Order now on the Pizza Hut app or online at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Oh my gosh, Allie, did you look at Janet's roof? Ugh, it's like so flat. It looks like one of those roofing contractor commercials. Who even understands those roofing guys anyways?
I like flat roofs and I cannot lie. You other contractors can't deny. TPO way up high. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring.
If you want a roof that's worth staring at, Avondale Roofing is where you go. Your roofing experts for over 30 years. AvondaleRoofing.com.
We're on the Badgers.
Who would have thought after 2 seasons?
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
That Greg Gard would have less of a hot seat than Luke Fickell.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Ready to roll, ready or not, ready to
Thanks again to Zach Showalter. We love having an excuse to talk to him. Got another excuse to talk to another of my favorite former Badgers, Mike Kelly, coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. If you didn't catch him on the Inside Wisconsin podcast with Trevor and with John Anderson, that was a really good listen. There's a surprise guest that joins them, and obviously John Anderson, a teammate of ours now at ESPN Wisconsin as well. So be sure to check that out if you have the chance. But Mike will join us at 11:40.
What does Mike do for a living? Is he working today?
Yeah, he runs a company, but I know he's leaving his work to go watch the game. That's why he's on at 11:40.
Interesting.
We will.
Yeah, who is this? Dennis in the YouTube comment? Real world jobs are on the clock all the time. I know, Dennis. I understand there are jobs where people aren't able to watch the games, which is why this thing called PTO exists for you to take the day off of work. If you played Division I college basketball and hit one of the most iconic shots in program history, I would imagine you would submit a PTO request for the opening day of March Madness when the Badgers, the team you played for, are playing. That's what I'm saying today.
Maybe he's waiting for the Final Four, the national championship.
That's a Saturday, right?
National championship is on a Monday.
I don't know how finances work. I'm pretty sure Saturday at 5 o'clock you're free.
Maybe not in the stock market.
I guess the real world jobs are you can act like you don't understand this concept, but you know you do. You know you do. You get it.
Yes, yes. That's why you take because you work a job that is a regular 9 to 5 does not mean you never get to take a day off of work. You unplug, you close the computer, say, I'm not available on Thursday. I'm taking the day to stay at home with my children and watch Wisconsin, Montana. I played for the team. I think everybody would understand.
Jesse, I have a question before we get to the 11 o'clock hour, because I do not want to cause us to have our videos muted by YouTube. Your idea of your power rankings of sports theme music is a fine idea, but is there a finite amount of time we're allowed to play them before we would get in trouble?
Yeah, any of it, unless it's an ESPN property. But even on YouTube, they wouldn't understand that, and they would still do things. So we might just have to sing them.
So you're going to have to hum it?
Yeah, we might just have to sing them.
Nice.
I can name that sports theme in 2 notes.
Riley, how's your singing voice?
Not great, but I think I can hum okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we got it. Uh-huh.
John Tesh, I love that. All right, we'll get to that during the 11 o'clock hour, plus trivia. There will be no Whoa Nelly. There may be an abbreviated Whoa Riley, which only I'll be participating in because Jesse will be gone already. And then we'll talk to Mike Kelly around 11:40. Before we can do that, I want to remind you that good days start with a great night's sleep on a new Tempur-Pedic mattress from Steinhafels. Tempur-Pedics support the body like no other mattress, making aches and pains a thing of the past. Queen Tempur-Pedic mattresses start at just $52 per month when you use Steinhafels' special 60-month financing. Plus, you'll get a $300 worth of Steinhafels cash. Isn't it time you got a great night's sleep on a new Tempur-Pedic? Stop in store or online at steinhafels.com. The 11 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes. It's Wilde And Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance, like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. My name is Riley Yauk, and this is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania. ESPN Madison is your radio home of the WIAA Boys Basketball State Tournament. Semifinals Thursday and Friday, and all 5 state championship games on Saturday. Catch it all right here on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin on demand. The NCAA Tournament Round of 64 officially tips off this morning, and you won't have to wait too long to see the Badgers. UW battles Montana at 12:30 p.m. Central on TNT. Forward Nolan Winter spoke with Pablo Iglesias yesterday evening, and he thinks the Badgers can make a deep run.
Yeah, I mean, people probably won't be able to see it from the outside, but from being on the inside and being within the team, I think the most together team is going to go the furthest in this tournament, the most competitive, and, you got to take pride in the defensive end, and that's what Wisconsin basketball is all about. We take pride in the defensive end and let the offense just kind of flow. We got a very deep team. We go 8, 9, 10 deep sometimes, so it could be anyone's given night, as we've seen. And, I mean, yeah, we're not going to be an easy letdown for
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde And Tausch begins now. And it begins not with Jesse's brother-in-law struggling or avoiding coming home on his tour. You can check out that part of the conversation from the 9 o'clock hour if you go back on YouTube or check out our podcasts. But with Jesse humming or singing the CBS NCAA tournament music. And leading to this question, Jesse, which is what?
Power rankings of the top sports theme songs of all time. I feel I am uniquely qualified to discuss this because many people don't know that in addition to studying sports communication at Bradley University, the Harvard of the Midwest, I also was a double major in music, where I was part of the wind ensemble and the orchestra at Bradley University. I know a thing or two about a good tune, Jason.
Okay, well, what are our choices?
Skeptical already, I see. All right, here is my official list of the top 5 power rankings sports theme songs of all time. Number 5, a relatively new one entered into the mix. Bum bum ba-da-dum, bum ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Sunday Night Football on NBC comes in at number 5. It's not the same as this music we're playing in the background, but that is number 5, because right now when you hear that orchestra, the John Williams composed music, you know that it's a big game and you've been waiting all day for Sunday night. There's something a little extra, and whether it was Al Michaels or now Mike Tirico, the best announcers calling the game, it's the biggest game of the weekend. It adds to the energy, the juice, and it feels big when you hear that orchestra strike it up on NBC on a Sunday night. NBC Sunday Night Football, number 5 in my rankings. You're already poo-pooing it. I can see this already.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't think it deserves to be in the top 5. I want to hear your top 4 first before I kick it out, though.
Number 4, same network, or is it? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, the one you started singing just before the commercial break. The former NBA on NBC round ball rock song from John Tesh, which is now used for Fox College basketball. That's going to be interesting because NBC's getting the NBA back next year.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do? I don't know how that's going to work. But the NBA on NBC, when you think of Michael Jordan and some of those matchups of the 90s, Bob Costas bringing you into Madison Square Garden with that music playing on a sunny Sunday afternoon or in prime time for the finals, that brings a ton of memories and feeling and emotion, which is what these songs are all about. Number 4.
Yeah, feels underseated.
Number 3, da-na-na-na-na-na, boom, ba-da-na-na-na-na, boom. Fox NFL Sunday. Maybe it's because we're fans of the Green Bay Packers. Well, some of us are fans of the Green Bay Packers playing that noon slot on a Sunday. When I was a kid, you get home from church just in time to see the announcers do the cold open at Lambeau Field on a sunny Sunday. Or it's the 3:25 Joe Buck Troy Aikman bringing you in, formerly in the big America's Game of the Week window. Now it's big game Burkhardt and Brady, of course. Fox NFL Sunday. It's so good, they actually tried using it for the World Series and their other sports coverage for a round of their window of time there. They tried like NASCAR races on Fox. We're using the NFL on Fox theme song because it was so good. That's just what they wanted to brand everything as. Number 3, the NFL on Fox. Number 2, dun 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 dun, bottom. Monday Night Football, ABC, ESPN. The Monday Night Football theme song. There is nothing like the Monday Night Football song when you're
except for something that you ranked ahead of it.
Because it's not like the Monday Night Football song, because Monday Night Football is weekly during the football season, feels special. The entire concept of Monday Night Football is designed to make a game feel extra special by being played on a different day than all the others. Monday Night Football, number 2 on my list, iconic. Only to be surpassed by number 1, the one that I was humming all last night, the one that you're going to be singing all weekend long when you're watching on True TV, among other networks. The NCAA CBS Turner Sports theme song. They even redid it 10 years ago just to tweak it a little bit, and it's still great, still iconic. And you know what they do so well? I figured this out. When they go to commercial break a bunch, when you watch all the games in the next couple of days, unless you're Zach Showalter because you're working, when you're watching all the games the next couple of days, they go to commercial so much in the final 2 minutes. There's like a 15-second commercial every time out in the final 2 minutes. And when there's intensity and when there's excitement about a tie game and a buzzer beater potential and an upset brewing, and you hear that music, it adds to the emotion that you're already feeling from watching the games. They do such a great job with that song. It captures the vibe perfectly of March Madness. NCAA college basketball on CBS and Turner Sports, number 1 in my sports theme song power rankings. Jason?
All right. I'm going to, spoiler alert, you got the last 2 flipped. You should have had Monday Night Football number 1 and the NCAA tournament number 2. That would be my argument. But I'm with you that they both are in the top 2. So count me in. 3rd, I have Round Ball Rock by John Tesh. That is my number 3 ranked music for sports coverage. Now, here's where we get a little bit of the difference in age. Because my other 2, 1, you still hear all the time. I'm also curious, before I give mine, because this is also what I would like to include. Where does One Shining Moment fit?
Oh, see, that's not a theme song. One Shining Moment.
So it's not. It is not eligible because I know it is a very divisive musical a piece of music.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that hate it, which I don't understand. I personally love it. So you're telling me I can't include it?
Were you ever, when you were a kid and you had like gym class, did you have like I remember in middle school we had like a little ropes course that they always had. It was like up in the rafters, but it would come down for like 1 week when you had like the ropes swinging unit. That's what.
No,
that's
what.
The answer that's what One Shining. Okay, well, that's what One Shining Moment is to me. It's always up in the rafters, and then it comes down for the night of the championship, but then it goes right back up, and it's done after a week. One Shining Moment is not a recurring theme. The college basketball theme song, you hear that in November all the way through, of course, April with the of the NCAA tournament. So that's the difference between a theme song and just a special song, I guess.
All right, well, I'm going to show my age then, because in the 4th position is the Olympic theme song. Ba 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 da ba 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 da ba ba da. That would be number 4 for me. And then number 5, another old school one, which you two knuckleheads have no idea about. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. ABC's Wide World of Sports which I am not going to butcher because of its iconic nature by trying to sing it here. I wish we could play that. Are there actual rules against that? I know we can't do the guy that does boxing announcing. He's very litigious.
No idea what you're talking about. Yep.
The Buffer Boys.
I don't no idea. Let's not go any further there.
I don't even want to say his name. I wasn't going to say his name just to be safe.
With that.
And we don't say March Madness in conjunction with any sort of partner.
Correct. Yep.
Super Bowl, another thing we could talk about.
You can say it all you want.
We're not tying it into
sponsored by anybody.
Right?
That's right. Uh-huh.
So I don't. So are we not allowed? Like we play music all the time coming in. Like could we play the Wide World of Sports theme without being in some sort of trouble?
I mean, depending on how much you want to know about this, like. The radio has rules with the FCC, but YouTube has its own different set of rules. So there are things we can do legally as a radio station that YouTube doesn't understand we are allowed to do as a radio station. And then it would say, no, get out of here. Get that out of here. It's like nice.
There it is. Just keep talking over it. No one will hear it.
What I should have done today, I should have brought my piano into the studio, and I could have played all of these for everyone, and that would have gotten around all the rules because they wouldn't have known that me playing the piano was the same as the copyrighted versions of Round Ball Rock, among other things. I should have done that today, showcased my skills a little better. My mistake.
Yes, those are my 5. I would also, as pointed out by Tom Oates on the private talk and text line, which I love it whenever I find out that Oates is listening.
I am very distracted by this thing playing behind us right now.
I'm not. It's great. I can push right through it. This is another old school one. I used to love This Week in Baseball with Mel Allen. And the theme that would play at the end of This Week in Baseball, Oates informs me it's called Gathering Crowds. That is a classic too. Again,
this sounds like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Don't be disrespecting Wide World of Sports.
Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck trotting out is what that sounded like.
Okay, I think that's our cue to play trivia.
Welcome to the Wide World of Sports.
You are such a...
I think both of you guys snubbed the MLB on Fox and college football on CBS. Those are fantastic themes.
All right, well, give us a few bars of each of those, Riley. Let's hear it.
Adam in Oregon will probably be disappointed if you've seen the Carbless Talk and text line. But MLB on Fox, the
not bad.
Yep.
Not bad.
It's a good one.
Well, this was a great topic, but we're out of time. And the idea of us 3 idiots CBS. Singing them.
Yes, we'll leave it there.
Feels like it belongs in front of Alabama and not Purdue, though.
I can't believe the 3 of us, we 3 idiots, singing theme songs that don't have words, by the way, so we're singing the sounds of it. All right, let's play some trivia. The category, Great Moments in Badgers NCAA History. You may have gotten a hint or two, either because of the guest we have coming up or the guest we just had, or maybe not. Caller number 16. As the Badgers aim for the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2017, I believe.
Zach Showalter.
The Sweet 16, caller 16, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 16 plays trivia, and they will play it after Tausch tells us about Kohler Services. It's Wilde And Tausch.
This is Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio. Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Ford and Metro Kia of Madison. Find the Metro family of auto dealers online or see them in person on the east side of Madison today.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 100.5 ESPN.
Lillard's going to tee up a three, and he splashes it through for the left wing.
Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, the official beer of the Milwaukee Bucks.
The Bucks kicked off their 5-game West Coast road trip on the wrong foot as they fell to the Steph Curryless Golden State Warriors 104-93. After being down by 14 at halftime, Milwaukee trailed by just 2 at the end of the third quarter. However, the Warriors went on to outscore the Bucks 26-17 in the final quarter. Kyle Kuzma paced the deer with 22 points on 5 of 13 from 3.
To the near side, Kuzma splashes down his 5th three-pointer of the night. That ties a season high, and the Bucks have climbed back to within 2.
Giannis chipped in 20 points, while Brook Lopez and Damian Lillard each added 16 apiece. The 38-30 Bucks stay out west as they visit the Los Angeles Lakers Thursday night.
This has been your Milwaukee Basketball Report on Madison's home for Bucks basketball, 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
I'm John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. We've been at the heart of many magical moments, from engagements to weddings to sweet 16s. It warms my heart to be a part of these moments for 40 years with people I consider family. With the highest standards and an eye for classic beauty, enjoy a warm boutique setting at Goodman's Jewelers, where integrity shines in every gem. At 220 State Street, Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store, Madison, since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Is it Waukesha or Waukesha? Brat or brat? Is it ever okay to vacation in Minnesota? Wisconsinites can't agree on everything, but we can agree getting paid earlier is better. That's why UW Credit Union is making members' direct deposits available up to 2 days earlier. Early payday at UW Credit Union. Join today. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
What are you doing out there?
Come on!
I saw you at the game the other night. Yeah, you. Up there getting mad, acting like we're all out there making $1 million a game. Well, let me be real with you. This isn't the pros. It's school sports, and it's a game, our game. So please, let us play.
School sports fans, remember, when you cheer for your team, make noise for the right reasons. This message presented by the NFHS and the NIAAA.
And all student athletes in Wisconsin.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Mark Tauscher here, and if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family-owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life, and this month only. Get $1,000 off your Lugstone shower remodel and no payment financing until 2026. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Wilde And Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, 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 oh! Before we leave, let me tell y'all a little
Time for trivia.
Uptown, funk you up.
Keep your sports themes coming. Jesse, I got bad news for you. Since Tausch isn't here, and never in the history of trivia have I taken trivia off, I'm going to play along.
Wow. You're just trying to watch basketball, aren't you?
No, I don't have a TV. I mean, I do have a TV in here, but it's not on.
Underway.
Wishing nothing but the best for Chucky and Louisville.
Had a good year.
I did pick them to win. No, let's welcome in our contestant first. It is Joe in Wauwatosa. Joe, good morning. How you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning. Great. Thanks.
Joe, you working today?
It's
No, I'm actually babysitting my son's dog.
That works out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's one way to go. I like it.
What's he doing?
Yeah. We're just getting done from the dog park.
Nice. Get him nice and tired so you get home. Dog takes a nap. You get to kick back, watch the Badger game. That's a smart play by Joe and Tosa.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
All right. Well, it is time for trivia, and I am going to enjoy playing along with Wisconsin. What's the title again, Jesse?
Great moments in Wisconsin NCAA tournament history.
All right, Jesse,
That's
take
our
it away.
category. I'll channel my inner Drew Carey, who is in the conversation on the game show host Mount Rushmore. Question number 1 for you, Joe. Bronson Koenig sent Bill Murray home sad as a fan of which team? Koenig helped the Badgers defeat with a buzzer beater in the second round of the 2016 NCAA tournament. Was it Cincinnati, Xavier, or Groundhog State?
It was Cincinnati.
I got bad news for you, Joe. It was not Cincinnati.
Oh,
yeah, it was Xavier. It was Xavier.
Shoot.
Yeah.
I was trying to shake my head, trying to help, but it didn't help.
Xavier. Was that too hard of a first question? I did think to myself as I wrote
They're
it
both
this morning.
based in the city of Cincinnati, which is kind of questionable behavior by you. But no, I mean that's a pretty memorable moment.
All right, Joe.
Sorry, Joe.
We're gonna bounce back here. I feel good about question number 2.
No, we're not.
Wisconsin defeated several college basketball blue bloods en route to appearing in the national championship in 2015. Kentucky, they defeated in the Final Four. Arizona, they defeated in the Elite Eight. Which other team did the Badgers beat in the Sweet 16? Was that Kansas, North Carolina, or UCLA?
I think it was Kansas.
Oh, boy.
Told you.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. You know, and the tough part is I had Villanova listed on that first line, and then I thought, no, they did beat Villanova that year, or the following year, I think it was. So that might be too tough. So I swapped it in for Kansas. And then he guessed Kansas. Jason, did you know it?
I did, but this is hard. Look, tournaments.
North Carolina.
Tournaments tend to, unless they're signature moments or you're remembering these, they just dissipate into the ether. It's hard to remember this stuff. So sorry, Joe, you're 0 for 2. This has never happened to me when I've been playing.
Last one.
Question 3. No, you won't.
Joe, this is the hardest of the 3 questions.
It's got a 33% chance.
Great.
Which of these? Yeah, now I just feel bad about this one because I thought the first 2 would be like easier, and then this one would be harder.
Could not have picked a better one not to participate in. By the way,
I'm sorry, Joe. This is tough, but that's okay. No one's listening because they're all watching the games anyway. Which of these was not one of the cities 8-seed Wisconsin played NCAA tournament games in during their run to the Final Four in Indianapolis in 2000?
This is
with Mike Kelly on the squad.
Okay. Sure.
Salt Lake City, Utah, Albuquerque, New Mexico, or Denver, Colorado? I'm sorry, Joe.
I'm going to go with Salt Lake City.
Well, it's a clean sweep. There you go, Joe. All right.
Dude.
You want to try and We call it a Tausch it when you get the question wrong a second time. Would you like to guess of Albuquerque or Denver and try and Tausch it?
Albuquerque.
Ah,
You did it.
He did it. He got it wrong 4 times, and he was only asked 3 questions. That is impressive.
Joe,
Confidence is very sexy. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Joe, we appreciate your loyalty to the show. I apologize on
tough.
behalf of Jesse because Jesse's got to leave because he's going to leave the show early on his big break of being a co-host.
Yeah, I'll take the rest of the day off.
Yeah, you and Showalter. Joe, you still got 1 entry into tomorrow's drawing. Thanks for playing. We appreciate you.
Excellent. Thanks.
Enjoy the games.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, Jesse's going to leave. Riley and I are going to get ready for our friend Mike Kelly. And Tausch is going to tell you about Coors Light. More straight ahead. Stick around.
The Blue Mountains of cold, refreshing Coors Light. Well, whether you're tailgating pregame, enjoying your experience during the game, or celebrating a big win after the game, or you just need a moment to chill, crack open a Rocky Mountain cold Coors Light. Coors Light is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it's cold packaged, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains on Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans, they turn blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories, Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Wilde And Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
The madness has arrived at Metro Ford of Madison this month. Get behind the wheel of a 2024 Ford F-150 with 3.9% APR for 66 months plus $2,000 flex buy cash, $16.86 cost per thousand borrowed. Or drive away in the 2024 Ford Escape with 1.9% APR for 66 months plus $500 flex buy cash, $15.97 cost per thousand. Don't miss out. These offers end March 31st. Head to Metro Ford of Madison or visit MetroFordofMadison.com today.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Being a Pella consultant means helping people build their dreams.
Customers really appreciate just how prepared we are. All the samples, the videos, pictures.
We are with you from start to finish. You literally have a friend from beginning to end and beyond with your project.
Our Pella team simplifies the process, taking time to listen and find the right solution for you. And right now, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2025.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. Over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Simple to play. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states. The app is really easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do, pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Combine your favorite basketball players with players from baseball and hockey, esports, and much, much more. Second half of the basketball season is here, and the race to the playoffs is heating up on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. And don't miss your chance to cash in as the league's best fight for playoff positioning. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
We're on the Badgers.
Anything short of a Sweet 16 is going to be a great disappointment.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
They are as good and as ready as I've seen a Badgers team of late.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
'Cause I'm a hazard to myself. Don't let me get me. No, I'm my own worst enemy. It's bad when you know yourself.
Mike Kelly will join us shortly. Before that, a very abbreviated Will Riley.
Exactly. We're not even playing the bump today. I'm just
God, you're selfless. What has Jesse taught you nothing?
I guess not. I'm also, I like to consider myself from the producing school of Jesse Nelson and Ryan Wollersheim. Ryan Wollersheim, much more humble.
Very unselfish.
Exactly.
Yes, I would agree.
Exactly. So my one question, we talked about the state wrestling tournament earlier. Ben Keenbaum, once again, sorry for forgetting. Shout out Trucker
Ben.
Scott. Ben Keenbaum, one of the toughest wrestlers at the state tournament, suffered the black eye. What a beast. But I don't know. You said you tuned in, Jason. I don't know if you happened to listen to my one hit I had at the end of the broadcast while my father, who's the head coach of the Milton Redhawks, hoisted the first ever girls team state trophy with his Redhawk girls wrestlers. And
no, this was not what I caught.
Okay, so you didn't catch this. So I will admit I was totally biased because my dad's the head coach. One of my older brothers is an assistant. My brother's on the team. I was super biased, and I didn't hide it whatsoever. I want to know, journalist to journalist, both graduates from the Journalism School of Mass Communication here at Madison, where's the line? As a journalist, where do you draw it when you're talking about family members, where everyone knows I wanted Milton to win? Mm-hmm. It's not a secret. How do I present that in a way while still maintaining journalistic integrity?
Yeah, you can't. You just have to be honest. That's the integrity. And you have every right to root for your dad and your brothers. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, if I go back to covering some high school sports and Sydney or Maddie are competing in some sort of WIAA-sanctioned event, my true colors will show. Mm-hmm. I'm a dad before anything. And so that's great that you were able to be there, though.
Yes.
Like, let's not lose sight of the fact, journalistically or not, how cool was it that you were there working the event? That's awesome.
It was so cool. I got to be down on the floor. I was able to talk to both my dad and my older brother before the matches took place. We're all stressing. Milton was ahead on the team score by 0.5 point. And Freedom, who was in second, controlled their own destiny. They had 2 wrestlers. We only had 1. So it was stressful. It was intense. But then I was able to interview the girls' state champ from Milton, Maddie Peach, who's a phenomenal wrestler. She's going to be a 3-time state champ next year. It was one of the coolest family experiences I've ever had.
You did right. You're fine.
Okay, thank you.
All right. That is Will Riley. I'm glad I could be reassuring that you did the right thing. Speaking of doing the right thing, nobody embodies Coach Bennett's 5 pillars better than this guy. Our friend Mike Kelly from the 2000 Final Four team joins us next to take us home on a Badgers basketball game day. Stick around. It's Wilde And Tausch.
We're on the Packers.
If they're not better this year,
because we're on Wisconsin sports,
there's going to be a lot of seats warming up.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN. You, rah, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Simden Chevrolet in Mount Horeb. You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevrolet in Mount Horeb. Room for worry? National College analyst Josh Pastner says no to any doubtful Badger fans. 4 of Wisconsin's 9 losses coming within the last month. Pastner's words on trusting the Badgers during his appearance on the jump around.
To me, it's not a red flag. You've got to look at the overall body of work. For the most part, they've been really good. And you want to see how teams are playing as of late. And they just went to the Big Ten championship game. And so I wouldn't have any concern with some of those losses. And look, the facts are the facts. The Big Ten's a tough league. I wouldn't have any concerns where Wisconsin is right now. I like their draw. If they win a BYU game, that will be the game to watch in the round of 32.
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison. Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on Twitter for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 100.5 ESPN.
Lillard's going to tee up a 3, and he splashes it through for the left wing.
Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, the official beer of the Milwaukee Bucks.
The Bucks kicked off their 5-game West Coast road trip on the wrong foot as they fell to the Steph Curryless Golden State Warriors 104-93. After being down by 14 at halftime, Milwaukee trailed by just 2 at the end of the third quarter. However, the Warriors went on to outscore the Bucks 26-17 in the final quarter. Kyle Kuzma paced the deer with 22 points on 5 of 13 from 3.
To the near side, Kuzma splashes down his 5th three-pointer of the night. That ties a season high, and the Bucks have climbed back to within 2.
Giannis chipped in 20 points, while Brook Lopez and Damian Lillard each added 16 apiece. The 38-30 Bucks stay out west as they visit the Los Angeles Lakers Thursday night.
This has been your Milwaukee Basketball Report on Madison's home for Bucks basketball, 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
Being a kid isn't always easy, and dealing with anxiety, depression, or other mental health challenges can make life overwhelming. At Unity Point Health Meriter, the Child and Adolescent Psychiatry program is here to help. Their expert team provides compassionate, specialized care to support kids and teens on their journey to better mental health. To learn more about children and adolescent psychiatry and explore their resources, visit unitypoint.org/Madison, because no one should struggle alone.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Make no mistake about it. This is a desperation move. When you pay Daniel Jones $14 million on a one-year proposition, you are desperate. And to be in this position 3 years after you use a top 5 pick on a quarterback is an indictment on the job that you've done. Chris Ballard been there 8 years, only been to the playoffs twice. What are we doing?
Unsportsmanlike. Weekdays from 5 to 9 on 100.5 ESPN.
At Gruber Law Offices, we've helped tens of thousands of families after a serious accident. Our priority has always been our clients. We're here for you whenever you may need us. One call, that's all.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, we start our countdown to opening day with a look at the state of baseball in the Windy City. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Joining us now as the Badgers get ready for their first round NCAA tournament game against Montana is a guy that has experienced it all. The highs, the lows, the needing his team to make a three-pointer late just to get the 32 points at a tournament loss, and reaching the Final Four. It is our friend, the great Mike Kelly. It's not even Wilde and Tausch. It's Wilde and Riley's here, too. Mike, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great, Jason. What's happening?
Well, I appreciate you taking time. I know you've been very popular lately, being honored with the 25th anniversary of the Final Four team and then doing the Inside Wisconsin podcast with Trevor and John Anderson. So thanks for making time. I do have a question before I start, though, and that is this. How do we get Dick Bennett into the Basketball Hall of Fame? Can you and I get to work on that?
If there is a way, if there's a petition, I don't know how that process goes, but it's a shame he's not in it. I'd like to think he's got to be on the short list of people considered, but I don't even know what it takes to get involved. He certainly belongs. I mean, what he's done for basketball at all the different levels and just spreading kind of the word and being a mentor to so many players who are now coaches, to fellow coaches, to his son, winning the national championship, and then obviously his own accomplishments. It's to me, it's a no-brainer. There's got to be a groundswell, but I'm on board. Whatever I can do, you let me know.
All right, you and I will take that on as our new task. Since, you're an empty nester now, everybody's off to college, like, you got all kinds of time,
yeah.
Don't you? I just thought of that
yeah, I guess.
When I heard Coach Bennett surprise you on the Inside Wisconsin podcast. All right, Mike, take us through what the feelings are right now for the Badgers as they're getting ready for their opening round game against Montana in Denver instead of against whomever in Milwaukee tomorrow, which is what we were all hoping for.
Yeah, right. I mean, the Milwaukee, that was really a kick in the stomach there. Not getting in Milwaukee, I don't know. I mean, I guess the closest I could say maybe we experienced is we had the 5, I think it was a 5-12 when we got upset by Southwest Missouri State.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all were, in that year, were victim to name brand, not recognizing the team, not knowing them, feeling like we were the power conference and the better seed, the better team. So you do try to fight that. I know Coach was conscious of fighting that in the preparation for that game. But sometimes, human nature is what it is. You can't help but sort of believe the hype and believe, the point spread, I think, is like 16.5. And now in our betting culture, everybody's aware of it. So that would be my concern as a player. We were, the year we went to the Final Four, we had the advantage of coming off such a letdown that we couldn't take anybody for granted. And of course we were an 8-9 game, so there was no feeling of, this is going to be a guaranteed win either. So that's your concern, I think, when I think about the team. I'd like to think this group is better than that. They are a senior group, and I think that helps. I also think the style that they play helps. Getting up and down, maximizing possessions in a game. We slowed it down because the more possessions, the more chance it probably was in the opponent's favor if they were more talented. But this team is generally more talented than their opponent, and I think they will try to get up and down. I think they've got the size advantage. So hopefully they're feeling good about that, and they'll come out firing, just shooting better than they did against Michigan.
I know Coach Bennett would say this, and I would echo this. You could play in anybody's system on any team, and you're too humble to say this. But I am curious, what is it like for you to watch a Wisconsin team play this style of play? Because whether it was Coach Bennett or even, let's be honest, the swing offense with Coach Bo Ryan, nothing compares to what we're seeing with this team offensively. Seeing 90 points next to Wisconsin on the bottom of a ticker or on the bottom of the score, that is jarring to me.
Yeah, it's so fun. I think everybody, I've always been a defender of Coach Bennett and Coach Ryan and now Coach Gard, and we've always won, and that's what I've always just said. Like, you've got to find a way. It's a competition. You're trying to maximize your ability to win, and we always did that, and it generally wasn't running up and down, although I do think that was overblown. The pace of play between us and a North Carolina was only like 5 more possessions a game. So I defended that for years, for 25 years now. And it's nice to not have to defend our style of play. It's amazing the amount of people that come up to me and say, "Oh, I love their offense," and that's fun. I mean, that hasn't been the case, but it is a beautiful offense. The continuity ball screen is a fun offense, and what I really appreciate is they've leaned into it. They pretty much run it the entire game. I mean, they've got a few wrinkles out of it. They've got a few sets they like to go to. But other than that, you know what you're going to get. It's one of the easiest scouts in terms of knowing what they're going to do as an opponent, but the hardest scout in the sense that it's hard to guard. They stretch you out. They've got bigs that can shoot, and the ball swings side to side. I mean, they chart their efficiency after one ball reversal, two, or even three, and the more they get, the higher their efficiency goes up, and that's what you see when you watch them play.
Has this offense, I know you're not in your analyst that you were in for so long, which, by the way, I think it's great that you got to then spend more time with your kids and coach them and everything else. But those of us that watched basketball, we were smarter because you were calling games. So I do miss that. Is that an offense that is proliferating? Like, I feel like from a high school or a developmental level, we ran the 5 out and then we ran this and that. Like, is that the new shiny new offensive toy that we're seeing across college basketball, or just at Wisconsin?
It's there's a few teams that run it, but nobody runs it to the commitment level that Wisconsin does. I would say I think they've got a deep enough team to do it. They trust their guys. I give Coach Gard. I think the biggest story is that Kirk brought this in. Kirk played in the system, coached the system, but you've got to have a head coach who's won multiple Coach of the Years, who's willing to adopt it and go all in. I mean, they didn't dip their toe. They are fully committed. So you'll see some continuity ball screen, but no one runs it the entire game like Wisconsin does. They will get some sets out of it. And it's hard. You have to be very skilled. I don't think we'll see it at the high school level yet a ton, because you need 3 really good guards that can come off ball screens, which is a skill that not many have. And then you need some bigs to stretch the court. If your bigs can't shoot, then you just go and drop coverage, and you can protect against drives, and you're kind of stymied. So we have the perfect kind of roster setup to maximize it.
Talking with Mike Kelly on Wilde and Tausch as the Badgers get ready for Montana in their first-round NCAA tournament game in Denver. That coming up at 12:30. Mike, I'm also curious about, you obviously your calling card was defense, and I didn't know that was genetic, but I remember Shea also being the Defensive Player of the Year in her conference. Was that last year? Was last year her last year?
That was last year, yep.
Is she playing in college now?
She is not. No, she actually had some opportunities to play at Milwaukee and Green Bay offered her scholarships. She had about a dozen D1 offers. The one she really wanted was Wisconsin, and they wouldn't commit to a scholarship. They did invite her to be a walk-on, but the circumstances surrounding it were such that it didn't seem like the right fit. So she decided to just go to school at Wisconsin and not play basketball. So she's there. I've had a couple people text me with all the departures on their team. She might be the best guard left on campus at the moment. so we'll see where that leads. But yeah, she only wanted to be a Badger, and so that's where she is.
I felt that way too, except I had no basketball skills, so there wasn't any decision to make on that when I went there. I am curious, and by the way, I am pushing for my friend Brad Fisher to get that job, and if he does, I certainly hope he then reaches out to Shea Kelly after that. Hey, but I'm curious, because of the defensive bloodlines that you have, how would you defend John Tonje, and how well could you do against him?
Oh, boy. I don't think I would do very well. I watch these guys. They're so skilled. The players have gotten bigger, faster, stronger, and then more specialized at a younger age. So it is really hard to defend these days. Although I will say, the only thing I will argue about is we got a bad rap back in the day that we were physical. And I think today's game is more physical than it was 25 years ago. I watched the hand checking on the perimeter and notice it today. I mean, the book is out on Wisconsin. I think one of the only ways you can try and slow them down is by getting up into them. So that's what teams are doing. And it's bumps. It's just much more physical than it was ever allowed. But that said, I mean, Tonje, I think the trouble is he can put it on the deck, and he will put himself in situations that most guys won't get that deep. They will not commit to a drive. but he goes into, he's like a mouse that can get through just the smallest crack on a wall, and he finds his way to the rim. And if he doesn't make it, he's going to get fouled. And that's the trouble with him. And you can't leave him open because he shoots it too well. You can't go under ball screens, so you got to chase over the top. He's one of those guys you're hoping he has a bad day. And I had a lot of those matchups in college where I thought, okay, I'm going to do my best. And then we just have to hope this guy's off a little bit. And then people will say it's good defense, but it was really they just missed a lot of shots.
You're obnoxiously humble. You had a lot to do with those bad days for those guys. All right, two more things because I know you're headed somewhere to watch the game. Unlike Showalter, who, as we learned in the 10 o'clock hour, is working today, and Jesse couldn't believe it.
What?
So, yeah, I know. And, you run a company and you found your way out of the office for a little while. So it must be nice to be the boss. All right, two things. One, based on your Final Four experience, because obviously we would love nothing more than Gardo's team to get there. And I know you got to take it one game at a time, and you can't get ahead of yourselves and all that. But is there something you learned from that team that was celebrated a couple weeks ago, getting to the Final Four? Is there a through line to getting there? Is there something that you have to do through all four of those games to get to the Final Four that you remember you guys doing?
I would say so. I think there's a confidence that comes with each round. It kind of starts to stack one on the next. And I'm guessing for this Wisconsin team coming off of last year's tournament experience, getting today's win, and in particular, I think shooting well, to me, would be the one thing. We had John Bryant, who was a great shooter, but he went to another level in our tournament run. He was a West Region MOP. I think if Wisconsin's going to make that run, they've got to shoot well from the outside. I guess that sounds maybe too simple, but it's for the confidence factor alone. You need Klesmit coming off screens and hitting instead of, he's been 30%, a little bit of a slump. If he starts hitting that 40% clip, he's the most confident guy I've seen on the floor. He talks trash to everybody. Same with Blackwell. Tanjay's been confident. So if they're knocking down their shots, I think it lightens the load for everybody, and that carries through. And once you get past today, and especially this weekend, if they can do it, then you're on house money. I mean, then you're going up likely against Alabama, and you can talk that trash, you can hit those shots, and it tightens up for the other guys. Today's the game that unfortunately tightens up for the favorite, and that's what you need to avoid.
All right, we're already over time, but I don't care because this is the last. We're going to finish where we started. I didn't play for Coach Bennett, but he's become a mentor and a friend to me and so many others who did play for him. He's a much bigger influence on them. But I talk all the time with the girls about humility and passion and unity and servanthood and thankfulness. How much of who you are, because you're one of the all-time great dudes, and I know your parents were great, and you're a great guy on your own right, but how much of you is based on playing for Dick Bennett?
It's hard to quantify, Jason. I'm glad you brought it up because Coach Bennett, we've all been so blessed by, and every moment we get with him is a gift. And I've said it before. I knew those 5 pillars were important to being a good person. My parents raised me that way, and Coach Bennett coached me that way. But what I didn't realize was how much they mattered in making me a better basketball player. And I've only understood that more and more as I've gotten older, as I've coached, as I've seen the kids that embody those things and how they find a way to succeed on the court. It makes all the difference. There's a lot of talented people out there, but the ones that can battle through failure, can be thankful, can stay humble, and can stay united in all those moments, those are the ones that are the champions. And I take that with me to this day. I run my company that way, people that way. I try to at least, and I hope everybody does.
All right. Enjoy the game today. I love it when I have an excuse to talk to you, buddy. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thanks for reaching out. Talk to you.
That is the great Mike Kelly. We are way over time. We got to go. Thanks for coming along for the ride with us today. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
The madness has arrived at Metro Ford of Madison this month. Get behind the wheel of a 2024 Ford F-150 with 3.9% APR for 66